Might tell you, what we doing? What we doing? What up, though? Nah, copy. All right, man. So I bought a new cord. I bought a new cord, but I needed it's the other cord. So I didn't went and bought the high ass cord thinking I needed that. When really I just needed the little cheap ass cord. You know, you plug in your phone and all of that. And I'm gonna keep it gangster. I went a Five Below the other day, walked out that bitch with an iPhone charger, thugging in public. I really, really do need to get my life together. Yeah, I fucked up. It's all love though. What day they said players fuck up too. Yeah, players fuck up too. But man, how y'all feeling out there, man? Everything good? Everything gravy? YouTube still hating? Okay, I just came to check. Topcatz, I got a design I want you to check out. We can break bread on it if you dig it. What you mean? Hey, come pull up on the panel. You got time to hop on the panel? Let me know exactly what you talking about. What you want? 70-30? You gonna take 70, I get 30? Blue Nova, what up though? H-Time in the building. Acres home, what the players wrong? Look at Chief Robinson. I'm curious about a shirt design. Well, let me see it. I ain't gonna just turn you down. You know, let me check it out. And you want me to pay for it? I don't have a problem paying for it. But right now, man, all the artwork y'all see, you know, on this, people been looking out. Nigga ain't charged me a red Indian penny. Videos, all of that, you know. So Chief Robinson, I'll check it out, and if it's live enough, I'll pay you for it. But I got like 6 different shirts coming. But I would be interested because if it's live, I want it. If it's live, if it's the best, if it's some good shit, I want it. So I'm open to hear that. He said, nigga, we can be 50-50. All right, we can be 50-50. So you gonna sell the shirt too. OG, so you want me to sell the shirt and give you half of the money? You want to make the shirt? We're going to use my influence to sell the shirt. And then I give you half for what? So are you buying the shirts? Now, if you buying and designing the motherfuckers, if I gotta buy the shirts, And then we go 50-50. That ain't no good deal, OG. He says, lie, trust me, I trust you. But I'm saying, if I gotta buy the goddamn shirts, me and you go half on the shirts. And then we go half. That ain't no good deal. Now, if you bought the shirts, designed them, and you brought them to me, then maybe we got a deal. But if I gotta come out of my pocket, nigga, and buy the shirts with your ass and split it, he said, no, it's a BCU shirt, so I just need your permission to sell it. I'm gonna be honest with you, OG. I don't know if BCU shirts are sale right now. Let me tell you why I say that. Because I can walk you in my office and show you 2 boxes of motherfucking BCU shirts. I've been having them motherfuckers for about a year. These Negroes don't buy merch like that. They don't buy merch like that. Now, what it may be good for is for the event we have coming up. It'll probably be, we probably can sell it there. But online, fucking with these niggas in the chat, have the 80% of these niggas ain't got a BCU shirt. So that's what I'm saying. Like, if you probably would have had anything else on it, them niggas would have took a Native American. They would have took a Native American face with the feathers, like everybody be doing them little joints they get off the internet, and printed that bitch up on there. And yeah, them niggas will probably buy that for their buy a BCU shirt. He say this the new design. Send it to me, man. We'll see what we can do. Karimio, what's up, fam? Man, we got a big event coming up, Karimio. That'll be so live, man. If you could have popped that. Karimio say 70-30 is a good deal. Y'all already know your platform. Hey, Karimio, man, I like how you think, because, them the numbers I was thinking. Shit, nigga, you want me to sell them? You know they gonna buy them from me. If I say, hey, we got 80 people in here, we got 50 shirts. I need all these shirts gone in the next 20 minutes. Them hoes them hoes gonna fly off the shelf. And then, nigga, you done made it come up. And nigga, we just met. I just met you today. Send me the logo though. Well, you ain't gotta send it to me. You can put your look, so you won't think I stole your shit. But yeah, let me check it out. They said nice live yesterday, Karimio. I'm gonna have to check it, Mike. I caught one the other day on Indian slavery. It was a late night too. I was like, bet I ain't had shit to watch. I ran the crowd. I had watched that other one the other day. You dropped though, Karimio. But shout out to the homie, man, in the building. I wish we could get him down here for the event. Let me know what I can do, Karimio, nigga. I see y'all in Jamaica, nigga. I see y'all in Jamaica living good. Jamaica's really good. Yeah, I see you out in Jamaica living good. Come through, man. We in H-time. What you told me? Hey, man, 2 hours away. So, yeah, I'm going to hit you with the same line you told me, Karimio. You 2 hours away, man. Goddamn, Tracy taking too long. That's my nigga, though, man. Since I first came through the door, me and Karimio, 2020, man. Since I first came through the door, man. I always been love, man. Y'all go make sure y'all support my brother. Still putting in work. Nigga been around his hoe a long time. You feel me? And he's still doing this thing, man. Still can get up and come out here and put it down, man. So double salute to the fam in a real end zone way. Y'all ready for BCU? My mic ain't working. I guess that bitch will be working. What the Jaguars is it? Let's go.
Ooh, it's something about, just something about the way she moves. I can't figure it out. It's something about her.
Hey, you out, right?
Something about kind of woman that wants you but don't need you.
Hold up. Fam say, I just broke a 25-year no-flight policy. It was a big step. Man, look, I don't like flying either. I don't. But they got these gummies out, man. Melatonin gummies. Man, I be out before the flight leave, and I wake up when we land. That's how I fly. I'm asleep. I ain't watching no TV. I don't need no head. I got headphones on. I got noise cancellation. And them bitches turned up to the max. And everybody for about 5 or 6 rows is finna listen to my motherfucking playlist. They don't hear nothing but my playlist. They be like, hey, turn it down, flight attendant. Hey, can you turn it down? Turn it down, bitch, walk off. I turn it right back up. Bitch, I don't want to hear the wind blowing. I don't even want to know. Sometimes I pick my feet up off the floor so I don't even feel us flying. Yeah, man, some of the best sleep in the world I done got was on the plane.
Can't figure it out. Something about her.
Something about her. She talk like a boss.
Talk like a boss.
Hey, we gotta get show today, y'all.
She's fly effortlessly. She move like a boss. Do what a boss do. She got me thinking about getting it all.
Hey, where the flames at? Hey, let's get some flames in here. What's up with it, Asia?
She got her own thing.
Hey, that's why I love her.
Independent. Won't you come and spend a little time? She got her own thing. That's why I love her. Independent. Ooh, the way you shine. It's independent. Ooh, there's something about kind of woman that can do it for herself. I look at her and it makes me proud. There's something about her. Something oh so sexy about kind of woman that don't even need my help. She said she got no shot. Something about her. Cause she work like a boss, play like a boss. Car and a crib, she got to pay them both off. And the bills are paid on time. She made for the boss, only the boss. Hey, baby, she telling them to get off. That's the girl that's on my mind.
Guess what?
She got a woman. That's why I love her. It's independent. Won't you come and spend a little time? She got her own thing.
Hey, man, I hope y'all getting ready for Fade Day. We just going up and up and up and up. I hope y'all ready for Fade Day, man. Cause it's about to go down. Hope y'all getting y'all tickets. Hope y'all getting whatever y'all need. He said, I shared it to your Instagram. Bet, Chief, I got you. I'm gonna tap in. Listen, so I ain't gonna say no names, but we got some more people who I spoke to yesterday that's pulling up. Not only that, but yesterday, it's a guy. He on the a shop here, and he was talking to me about creating a Indian museum in Houston. Now I'll be honest, if I go in a project like that, I wouldn't do partnership. You feel me? I like to put up my own money. Fuck that. But he have a shop and he have a lot of indigenous things in there. Eastern woodland, southeastern. You know, he have a lot of artifacts. You know, Indian. You know, just for us. So, shout out to that brother Eli. He Choctaw Indian, but he had a lot of Shinnecock, Postbatug. He had a lot of New England tribes. Things. And when I first got here, you know, the Eastern Woodlands was kind of running the show. And then, you know, I had to back them up and let them know, hold on, bro, you can't out country. You can't out Indian a nigga from the country. You just can't do it, nigga. What Jay-Z said, look, man, the tree grows in Brooklyn. So, yeah, it's, you know, far as knowing the land, I mean, y'all was some damn good oyster catching ass niggas. Yeah, freaky ass niggas. Y'all want them oysters? Cause they aphrodisiacs. Yeah, y'all want to do some fucking. Hey, Karimio, man, I went to Boston, right? I remember we did the interview, and a lot of people don't know. They always be trying to handle my nigga Karimio. Oh, that nigga, this and that. Man, Karimio was born in Boston, Massachusetts. And you know what? I'm going to edit that video up tonight, Karimio, and show them Boston. I don't know if they seen Boston before. I don't know if they been to Boston. I told y'all, man, it was two places out of all other places I've been to. It's only two places that made me say bye when I left. And that was Jamaica. She made me say bye. And Boston, Massachusetts. Before I left, I looked in the sky. I had to tell her bye. I don't know what it was. I have excellent footage on it. And I was walking through there, man. It felt like I was walking back in the past. And I've been binge watching Game of Thrones, right? I'm just getting put on it. I'm late like a motherfucker. I'm on season 2. It's out. I'm almost to season 3. But I was walking through Boston, and it felt like I was in you know, back in ancient times, you know, colonial times, medieval times. And as I was walking, you know, I'm by myself. And man, I'm catching hell. They got a fucking Boston Red Sox game that day. Y'all know that shit like religion to them. So I'm on the train, fam. You know, the red line, the blue line, the green line. And so I'm trying to read the maps because the nigga already done got me lost. Hoe ass nigga got me lost. Probably did it on purpose. He told me, yeah, when you get out right here, walk across and go down. Man, I get over there. The dude told me, nah, you going the wrong way. Fucked over me, right? I'm trying to get to Harvard. Motherfucker take me to Boston College. I said, man, what the fuck is going on, nigga? I'm trying to get to Harvard, and this nigga that dropped me off at Boston College. I'm mad than a motherfucker. We got Michigan in the building, man. I'm gonna tell you what a Michigan nigga told me, man. I had them BCU buffs on. He say white buffs make a bitch wanna fuck. Majestic. I'm gonna tell you, nigga. I pull a video up, man. I'm at the Colorado game. That was Shadur and them, Travis Hunter and them last game. I'm at the game. Coming through the crowd, a nigga catch me out the crowd and say, hey, player, I like them shades, man. He say them white buffs make a bitch wanna fuck. He said, where you from? I said, I'm from H-Town. He say, Detroit. And we shook hands. I got it on camera. Yeah. He said them white buffs make a bitch want to fuck. Look at Geechee. Geechee, watch this here, Geechee. I'm gonna tell you something. And I had told my baby mama this the other day. I said, cause look, I broke my buffs. This is what I did, dumbass nigga, right? I had put my jewelry, so I got like this little box, but it hold the shades in. And I put my jewelry inside of there. And I put the buffs in there with no case. You know that bitch come with like a little hard case you can stick it in so it don't break, even if it fall or whatever. Man, I cracked my shit. And I only had one pair left. And I said, oh, Geechee after my shades, fam. Geechee trying to get my shades, bro. I got one pair of them black and white bitches left. And that, man. But nah, she said, if he want them, you got to give them to him. I'm like, nah, you right. I just have to give me some more, man. I'll find something else to wear. That nigga after my white buffs. I got one pair left. I swear to God. Geechee on my life, nigga. I got one. Boy, if it wasn't you, shit, nigga, I would put so that. But I got them for you, man. I got one. And I looked at them hoes yesterday. Because I went out last night. I looked at them, my outfit, I'm like, I gotta go. I had to wear the egg balloons. Said, man, fuck it, man. Them Geechee glasses. I had to put on the egg balloons, man. But it worked out for me. Yeah. For the ladies who seen me yesterday, yeah. It worked out, didn't it? I had the egg balloons on, man. Ran into Killer Callion, man. Y'all know Killer Callion from Houston. He a rapper from Houston. Shout out to Killer Callion, man. Listen, bro. This shit here is gonna be turned up to the maximum. I don't know what niggas think this is.
But it's not enough. You bitches that are really step, but it's not enough.
It is.
Myself, but it's not enough.
I get on their ass. Yeah, somebody gotta
say, man, this is fade. We catching fades, catching plays, catching fades in the H. Yeah, ran into Killer Callion last night. He said, hey, man, that's your book. You know niggas from the streets and run, watch them niggas and, you know what I'm saying? And, we both just like, hey, man, keep doing your shit, man. Keep doing your shit, nigga. That's your book, nigga. You writing books now. Yeah, life be crazy like that sometimes.
I made them niggas mad. Somebody gotta do it. I take the G-Pad. Yeah, watch a nigga do it.
We survived outside, all from the music, nigga. What are we? They like, what he on? This the Alpha and Omega, bitch. Welcome home.
Hey, this is not alone. This is revelation. Hey, I saw that, Stone. I saw that.
That's the plan, baby. Don't
put your
life
in
these weird
niggas.
It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that are really step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not
Mother
enough.
dragging, where my hug at?
Somebody gotta do it. I made them niggas mad. Yeah, somebody gotta do it. I take the G-Pad. Yeah, watch a nigga do it.
Take door. Take the great.
Turn this TV off. Ain't with my type of activities, and don't you get involved. Hey, what? How many shit I seen? Send them off. Take a risk or take a trip. You know I'm tripping for my dog. Who you with? Couple sergeants and lieutenants for the get back. This revolution been televised. I fell through with the knickknacks. Hey, young nigga, get your chili up. Yeah, I admit that. They black out if they act out. Yeah, I get that.
Hey, what's up,
I hate a bitch that's hating on the bitch and they both hoes. I hate a nigga hating on them niggas and they both broke. If you ain't coming for no chili, what you come for? Nigga feel like he entitled cause he knew me since a kid. Bitch, I cut my granny off and she don't see it how I see it. Got a big mouth, but he got a big idea. Send him to the moon, that is how I feel. Yeah.
Whoa.
It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that are really step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough.
Read.
Really sure. That I love that lasted for so long. Still you are really care. Hey, let's talk about the distractions going on elsewhere.
Hey. Hey, can I bring that point back, man? I don't know. That's just my favorite point, man. I don't know what made that nigga do this.
Solid niggas left, but it's not
I
enough.
don't know what
Big
made
better
him
really
do this.
step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough.
Are we really sure
But I love that.
lasted for so long? Still know
Hold up.
do I really care? Hey, let's talk about the distractions going on elsewhere.
Hey, so look, Carimio, man, you know I did the 13 colony tour. Connecticut, New England, going through them places, man. Like I just said, Boston. I know you don't fuck with them flights, but I know one day, nigga, you going back to Boston at least. I know you got it on your list, Carimio. I know one day you will at least go back to Boston. And when you do, let's put an event together. Why you say that, Chief? Man, I didn't know what to expect. And I'm going to tell you how crucial it was because I went to the 13 colony tour and I came back like 2 weeks later. That's how fast I came back. I don't know. It just got me, bro. That motherfucker, I don't know, fam. It's like, man, I can't even explain it. But it was just like entering another world like a motherfucker. And then I'm finding out so much shit, connections, like, because I go to UK after that. I'm in the UK. When I fly into Boston, my phone service messaged me. You know, they send a text message to you. They messaged me, welcome to Ireland. I said, damn, I'm in Ireland because, you know, I got my I got my little eye mask on and I could just hear the headphone and it say, welcome to Ireland. I'm like, damn, I'm in Ireland. Let me get up. I get up. I'm in Boston, Massachusetts. Let that sink in. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be in the slide in the lecture. I kept I kept that motherfucker. I kept the text message. It said, welcome to Ireland. Oh, he said Trump don't want him. That might need. All right, we're gonna have to get Trump ass. All right, we'll wait till next nigga. You'll be around. This Trump can't run no more. What's up with it, bees? I ain't seen you in a minute. See, I know you ain't came back pregnant or no shit like that, huh? I know you ain't came back pregnant or nothing. Where you been, Liz? Liz, you done abandoned the family. You coming to Fade Day? You got enough time. I know you ain't went out and got pregnant or let one of these suck ass niggas break your heart. You been gone too long. I wonder. Reese say Trump don't want none of our ass. No lies told there. Trump ain't fucking with nobody unless you got a couple dollars. You trying to yeah. So boom, let's get into the bill. What's the bill about? Well, shout out to Donnie G, man. Baltimore, Maryland, Baltimore. Stupid. We going stupid in Baltimore. Shout out to the OG Donnie G, man. He had a panel and he had Professor Dr. Gunther and he wrote a book, and I let him explain it to y'all. He said, did it say Ireland? He said glitch in the matrix. Nah, no glitch in the matrix. Nigga, Boston is Irish. Why you think them niggas still got they still got that twang, nigga, that accent? America is not what y'all were thinking. Listen, in the Game of Thrones, you know what I see them doing? They're flying ravens to carry messages. When you look at the coat of arms, go look at Maryland coat of arms. That coat of arms is in Game of Thrones. When I went to Westminster Abbey, there's a chamber in there with all of the coats of arms up. And I walked through there. You can't record in there, but I recorded anyway. Nigga, fuck you. Fuck your mama, bitch. Bitch, I paid $85 to get in here. Fuck your mama, bitch. They called me twice. I said, yeah, 3. Let me get my ass up out of here. I thought I heard Junior voice say, nigga, don't roll Vegas and sit back down. So, yeah, I got my ass up out of there. Bitch. I should have had them shades, them Ray-Ban shades on. See, I got away with it because they give you headphones when you go in. Black headphones. Well, I had on some Black Beats headphones. So they couldn't tell if I'm doing the audio tour. Hell, I'm doing my own tour because I'm walking and talking. And I'm in there fan night. I'm like, man, they go Zachary Macaulay. Nigga, they go John the Gun. Man, they go Richard the Second. I'm going crazy in there. But nah, it's all love though. I enjoyed myself like, well, you know what? Hold on. The fuck? Okay, I got everything plugged in, man. We gonna have to go with no mic. He said the white indentured servitude introduced me to Gunther Peck. Say Carimio introduced me, and Tim Wise. Okay. Oh, Carimio, you bumped into them already? He said New England and the British Isles were one in ancient time. That's a fact. And Carimio, when we've been asking the Moors been talking about these global empires. And they never been able to show us a fucking empire. And the whole time the empire been sitting right in our face. Shout out to OG Arawakin who come in and he always talking about the regiment, this British regiment. I don't see how they operated in the Caribbean as well. They left Jamaica and went and kicked them niggas' ass in Africa. So you telling me you took a nigga from Africa, took him to Jamaica, and then took him back to Africa to go beat the shit out of his cousin, sister, brother, mama, uncle, granddaddy, auntie, friends he grew up with, and burned down his own village. It don't make no sense. Why would a nigga go tear up his own shit and help another nigga that has enslaved him and captured him and beat him and whipped him, but he'll join the army to go back? Yeah, they sacked Africa. That same regiment. So it did a lot of shit don't go together, but we'll get there. Shout out to Turtle. What up, though, man? He said, I put on the metal glasses. Yeah. I need them hoes, man. I ain't got them. I need a pair, man. Somebody send me a pair. Yeah, I need the address. Groovy, man. Where my green man at, man? Groovy, I'm waiting on my green man. You got niggas out here talking about green men now, man. Come on now. I need my green man. Need my green man photo for the thing, for the event. I'm listening. I'm not no painter, artist, but I'm bringing all my art. I'm setting up over there where the artists. And yeah, I'm looking for niggas to run my table. Yeah, because I'm having about 6 motherfucking tables there. So I talked to these Mexicans today about the tents. And he gave me a good price, man, and he worked with me. You know, they'll set up and they'll break down. So he gave me a good price. I think I'm gonna go with him. He said, that's what I want to send to you by then. On my mama. Nigga, you told me that shit 2 years ago, nigga. Your ass was a freshman. You done graduated college. Nigga, your ass graduated college. Your girl done had the baby already. Or she pregnant. Groovy, I need my shit, man. He said, that's what I want to send you by then. Okay. Well, nigga, we got about 60 days. We down there under 60 days. Liz, welcome back to the Jaguars, and don't leave us no more. All right, let me get this off the screen, man. Let's get to the show, because we ain't got all day long to be fucking with me. I've been out the mix. It be feeling like, you know, gotta get your feel back. All right, boom. So we're gonna bounce off over to Donnie G. I back up a little, I guess, so y'all can get an introduction of
a voting rights activist
of the guy. This is Gunther Peck right here. And guess what? I asked him, did he know Dr. David Eltis? He said, yeah. I said, I just sat down with him. He was amazed. He was like, wow, how did you do that? Who you talking about, Dave? He back there somewhere. He back there somewhere. I don't know. You can look around. Let me know if you find him. He back there somewhere, though.
And the author of Race, Traffic, Anti-Slavery, and the Origins of White Victimhood, 1619 to 1819. Dr. Peck's work digs deep into how myths of white grievance were created centuries ago and how those same narratives are still being weaponized in American politics today. His recent piece,
come get my hug.
Made by History, lays out how Donald Trump, for instance, his rise isn't something new, but part of a long tradition that stretches back to fabricated stories of white captivity, so-called white slavery. Here on Indigenous, we've been unpacking how history gets rewritten, erased, or manipulated to maintain power. Dr. Peck brings the historical receipts to show us that these tactics aren't just recent inventions. They're recycled strategies that have divided workers, undermined abolition, and weakened multiracial democracy for generations. Dr. Peck, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. And it's a real honor to be part of this conversation and to talk about this work and and why it matters.
First of all, congratulations. I mean, as a writer.
Hold on 1 second. Hey, man. Hey, y'all, let's give a moment of silence to Assata Shakur. We lost a great one today. Or maybe since the FBI just came out this year and said that she's number one on their target. I think that's in New York, Buffalo, or something like that. Hopefully, she just, you know, they came up and said, all right, we're going to tell them we did so they can stop looking. Yeah, we cremated her and everything, and she just go on with a new identity. Yeah, hopefully that's what happened. But if she did transition, we do want to get a moment of silence. You know, how it's supposed to be done. Nigga, bang, bang, nigga, we breaking out of jail. Nigga, come get me. Nigga, fuck these niggas, come get me. We'll shoot it out, nigga. And made it to Cuba. Just like a lot of our people.
Just to get a piece of
Cuba
in the Time magazine.
Thank you.
And you kind of went against what some would think a white guy would write.
Nay, Topcatz.
Yeah. Well, I'm an historian, and for me, and an activist. So I'm looking like I like what you said in the intro. Like for me, we got it. I mean, I wrote this book, and it took me way back into the past. I have to say, I did not find what I expected. But it was written over, you know.
Hey, Necktown, do you know the McCallisters? You know the McCallisters out of Nacogdoches? You know the McCallister family?
Last decade and a half, in which increasing numbers of people who are white were claiming to be victims. And so I wrote it with the present in mind. Even if I don't even mention, you know, Donald Trump or any of the contemporary story in the book directly, because it ends in 1819, a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, the reason I wrote the book is because I feel like the history of white supremacy is a history of evasion. And it's not just one that involves people who look like me, but there's always been some, I guess I would say, class complexity to the story. And that's part of what the book tries to open up, is that it is this myth of white victimhood didn't just come into being. It was an answer to a very specific anti-slavery, a kind of radical abolition project.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Baba Hayru as
well. Upending the kind of foundations.
Yeah, rest in peace to Baba Hayru, man. Me and his daughter was cool, man. And hopefully I get to meet her one day. But I wanted to meet Hayru as well, man. So yeah, man. Rest in peace, Dr. Hayru. Shout out to his daughter, man. I hope she holding up, and the family as well.
The political economy in the British world in the late 18th century. So, and so that's really when it came into being. And it is seeking to both discipline poor white people, servants and others, but also to persuade them that their lot is really best with, you know, with white peoplehood, or with a so-called white race, and against the brown and black people that they were actually laboring quite nearby, and sometimes fighting against common masters. So I think that story has not really been fully told or appreciated. We've kind of used the contemporary categories of race and racial boundaries and looked back into the past. But initially, race was not, let's put it this way, Christianity was powerful enough to create enslavements, and it didn't really, it evolved later in response. This is what I didn't expect. It evolved in response to this kind of radical political project that enslaved people, formerly enslaved people, and also trafficked whites were waging together against against the powers that be of that time, 1760s and in that period, 18th century. So, and one of the first working, I guess I would describe one of the first, the article that I wrote in Time, one of the first working class people to kind of embrace white victimhood is a key turning point. And it's this guy, Peter Williamson, who was known as a professional liar. But he was also, he's really interesting because he was politically quite radical. He was protesting the ways in which young children and servants were being trafficked out of Scotland and sent into the New World for 15 years, long contracts to work with no pay. And he was one of those kids. He was kidnapped and sold into what he calls slavery, but he called it white slavery. He's one of the first to call it that. And so he is an angry man, and he used it to indict the shipping merchants that had exploited him. And he's a real genuine radical. But what happens over time, and this is kind of a key moment, is that when he starts talking about white slavery, people begin to respond to that and go, oh, mean, white people are enslaved. Well, that slavery is, he didn't argue this, but people who heard his story argued this, that, but that's worse than black slavery. So we see this today, and this became a kind of toxic lie that really grew over time. So that white and black are both enslaved, and white slavery is far worse than black slavery. So even as abolition was gaining strength to abolish black slavery, to abolish slavery, all color, the reaction by
I think it was his brother, Benjamin Franklin brother, had him under a form of indentured servitude, and he ran away. He took an Indian trail when he ran away as well. Man, I did a lot of see, that's why I gotta drop this Bloodline 6. Because I got a lot of information on Ben Franklin, George Washington. Shout out to Karimio. He dropped something on Benjamin Franklin under the servitude of his brother as well. I ran across that information too. But I don't think it was his mom. I think it was his brother. And he ended up running away.
The critics of it was to say, well, white slavery is worse than black slavery. I think
he went to Philadelphia.
And that was a way to divide.
And damn, you from Philadelphia. Yeah, I think that nigga ran the city.
That's the gist of the whole 400-page book. Anyway.
Okay,
there's more in there, and I'm happy to elaborate more. But
I think he came.
So that's it wasn't. I also would say the thing that surprised me most was it wasn't a foregone conclusion that that I guess this idea, it's a really unlikely idea that of white victimhood would be successful.
Yeah, I would have came back and worked his ass.
It is. I want to make it clear. I'm not saying that there were not people who looked like me who were. I'm not saying there were not slaves. There were people who looked like me who were enslaved in the past. But here's the key: they were not enslaved because they were white, and that's a key difference with black slavery. That's right. So skin color became a badge of enslavement for African descendant people. And
now hold on, y'all. Now, OG Unc did send me the link already. I'm just sitting back. So he said white folks were slaves, but they weren't enslaved because they were white. But the blacks were slaves because they were black. And now he's gonna go into the African slave trade. I'm just sitting back. I'm loading up my rifle. I'm getting my artillery ready just in case. I had like 5 PowerPoints open just in case.
And through the lineage of the mother. So that's how the whole African slave trade was sort of organized. That's how slavery was legalized in North America, through the inheritance of the mother. If the mother was enslaved, then the children were. No,
all right. Now we heard this conversation, right? Like he said black African slaves, and if they were slaves, then the mother was a slave, then the children were. Well, that's why I'm gonna bring him back around. When I get up there, I'm coming back to that topic. I need that topic. We need to talk about that.
Slaves' children were ever enslaved. So if you want to, but people were making this comparison in the past between
we caught that
indentured servants who were kidnapped and kidnapped Africans. And the thing is, if you put those two groups together, it was they were the majority by far. And so keeping them divided was key to how the political economy worked, and also how the meaning of racial victimhood emerged. So the other thing was that So does that make sense, Sonny? Tell me what you're making of it. I'm welcome with thoughts or questions. It was not what I expected. I will tell you that. My book, I was going to try to. When did the language of whiteness come into being? That's what I was interested in. And this is not what I expected. I expected the first whites were convicts. Mm-hmm. The people who were sold out of the jails of London or Ireland and were transported to the New World. To be a white or a black was to be a thing. And so who had power? Christians had power. And so there's this really intense language that I found in the discourse about colonial planters saying, well, we brought in our Christian servants to put down the rebellion of the whites and blacks. That was not what I expected. So, so the earliest language of skin color for whites was, it denoted that they were bought and sold. Not the same as blacks, because that was perpetual slavery.
Okay, cop, I'm gonna tell you
Theirs
that.
was for a period of years. But it was a sign of it was a sign of being a thing. And so no one wanted to be known by skin color. You wanted to be a Christian to have rights. Which is one of the reasons why, very quickly enslaved Africans also became Christian, because that was a way of gaining power. And then it's partly that transition that made the story of skin color have to become more salient. White had to be elevated. When enslaved Africans became Christian, it was a threat. So in effect, you had to say that the white race had to be invented. So this idea then, so it came about in reaction to collaborations among enslaved and trafficked, and there were a lot of more collaboration, I think, than we sometimes see and remember. And so this mythology of white victimhood was built in response to the kind of power from below. And the one, you can see that in Barbados, in some of the language of the way they describe the rebellions of servants and slaves and enslaved people. The first, I was looking sort of, when did whiteness then become a language of power for, what we would call today white privilege? And I want to almost make it really clear. What I found is, I don't mean to diminish in any way what the work that white skin color does today. Obviously, it matters. I'm not trying to I'm critiquing this that work today. But the origins are complex, and they speak to the kind of it was invented by elites too. That's the other part. Like today, we condescend to working class people a lot by saying white working class racists. That's the sort of a lot of the energy about racism. There are plenty of white working class racists, but it's not like working class people invented racism. It was imposed on them, and they were kind of given bad bargains. So this Peter Williamson figure is one of the first working class people to claim whiteness as its status, but he was a political radical. He then gets kind of misinterpreted by others to say, well, white suffering is worse than black. And in fact, it's the idea of white suffering that really is born in the late 18th century that continues on. It's that idea that the white race suffers more than black people, which is just a crazy lie. But that is the genesis lie of so much violence and so much racism moving forward. The Klan, that's their whole justification, right? And the idea of white virtue and white victimhood.
Say, listen, fam, look at it. They say, what legendary Topcatz? Oh, lacing up. What legendary Topcatz at? Oh shit, he wrapping his hands. Y'all listening to him? What Chief doing? He wrapping his hands.
Has a very long and productive.
Yeah, he wrapping his hands.
Tragically, a productive ideological life.
One thing you said to me yesterday was about the collaboration in terms of was it insurrections? Was it the fear of indentured servants and enslaved peoples rallying together?
Straight up, yeah. So you see that in a lot of these were not successful or necessarily big scale rebellion. You see it in the correspondence of planters back to London. And they say things, we're worried about, we have to bring in more hired servants. Hired servants would be Christian servants against the whites and blacks. That's the language that's being used. And so there is a servant slave rebellion, a couple of them where they have common masters. There'll be an abusive master. They're working. No one's getting wages. And they're trying to, so that rebellion of the trafficked, those who are bought and sold, is what is generating some of the changes in status. So whiteness becomes a kind of source of some rights over time, but it's not born that way. So some of the first white rights in places like Barbados are, and this is crazy, there's a crazy language, but in 1704, the governor of Barbados, the attorney general from England, writes a letter worrying that the servants have become white slaves. This is before Peter Williamson, and that they might be, if you treat them badly, in effect, they're going to be in rebellion. And so the
style. What's up,
Edward
Mama?
Steed, who's the governor of Barbados, writes back and says, well, they're not. He insists that white servants are not slaves because they have the right not to be dismembered arbitrarily, which is like a really grim language. But the first white right is the right, you can be dismembered, but not without a proceeding. But if you were black, you could be dismembered. So the cruelty, the weight against enslaved people is profound, but much of that same power was used against servants as well. On Barbados and Virginia initially doesn't really rely too heavily on enslaved Africans. It moves to initially indentured servants, and then after Bacon's Rebellion, when enslaved and trafficked servants rise up together, that then they turn to the African slave trade in the 1680s. So it is that.
Now y'all know listen. Say, fam, I'm Terrence Crawford. Don't nobody rap my hair. I rap my own shit. So we're gonna let him get his shots off. So he said, whites argued that, white slavery was worse than nigger slavery. Listen, fam, in this course, a lot of places outlawed slavery, especially Indian slavery, a long time ago. The fights and revolts that we're seeing, that's why we're seeing opposition on one side and some people taking the side of the Indian. Because for one, they did have political power. Indians had political power. Just because the state, they have state lines now. Back then, it wasn't that. That's why I was speaking about earlier. They flying ravens with notes to fly over. They sitting and worried about ravens. Fucking Baltimore Ravens. I just went to Westminster, United Kingdom. Well, you got Westminster, Maryland. And we know that the Puritans came there, the Walloons, brought a whole nother form of Protestancy and strength for the Parliament. Now we know neighboring states were more radical with their Protestant, where these were more lenient. That's why when you get down to Charles II, he's a crypto. King Charles II, King Charles Stuart II is a crypto. Under the Treaty of Dover, Dover, he's going to pledge to Catholicism as well. His mother is Protestant. a lot of his family, you know, they're back and forth with these politics. But the parliament is coming in, and you have these Puritans, and depending on where they're coming from is what side of the politics they're standing on. And, you know, I don't want to go too deep, but this me looking into my family history as of Oliver Cromwell as he comes in. But they're going to migrate into what today is known as Maryland. I won't go too far. Y'all got to catch the curriculum, catch Bloodlines of the Guard 6. But I had already peeped Gunner. Shout out to Gunner, because he said, man, I ain't ducking no fades. But he said he ain't ducking no fades. But I did check his game out. And I knew I had the footwork. I knew I could outbox him. Easy money. No PhD, doctor degree. I knew he wouldn't be. I checked his footwork out. So I ought to be done wrapping my hands.
Some of the first laws of slavery, you all probably know this, but I didn't know this. Some of the first laws that legalize slavery are trying to create different punishments for the indentured servants who run away.
Don't say it like that now.
So they're trying to codify harsher penalties, you know, for enslaved for running away than for an indentured servants. So that it's out of that stew, out of that possibility and that practice of people combining, that white identity emerges. And it's initially, it takes about it takes more time than we think to become a language that actually unites people who look like me potentially into a coherent or sort of coherent group.
Shout out to Gunner. Gunner got a book. He promoting his book. And they gonna tell me after the show, then nigga say, I might need to write another book. Yeah, that BCU work, nigga. If we don't dominate, we don't win. If we ain't dominating, we ain't winning. If we are not dominating, we're not winning.
Politically. Whites have always been divided. No, wait, say it. Yeah, and I think the way racial hierarchy is white supremacy, the language of white victimhood works. It tries to persuade poor whites. Don't think of yourself as a poor person.
Hey, y'all get the likes
to your status, your victimhood as a white person.
YouTube is
not as a traffic servant or not as a worker.
I'm gonna put a 24-hour live.
And that's the identity that's seeking to kind of persuade people. So, and that's what I found, and it's a sad story. It's a tragic history, but it's also full of heroes. I did not expect
to find as much
brilliance and
he did not know
daring and ambition and like.
And I took it easy on him.
Some of these abolitionists, people like Phyllis Wheatley and obviously well known. A lot of Aquilano, but also some of these lesser known white actors who were staunch.
So he brought up Aquilano. We already got Aquilano out of there. He brought up Aquilano. My bad, I couldn't get in there in time to go get him. Hold on, I'm in the wrong shit. My bad. Well, I probably took it down. We ain't gonna look for it. I probably took it down. But y'all should be familiar. We got Adriano out of there. He's in the trunk. Won't be hearing from him anymore. Nothing about an Adriano. Hold on, let's put him in the trunk. And we're going to get back to the bill because I'm about to jump in. And I think we're going to thump for like an hour and a half.
date that he was baptized in St. Margaret's Church, Westminster, which is a small church right next to Westminster Abbey, if you've been to London.
Even though, I'm sorry, y'all. I just like doing this. I just like showing that I'm a pull up. I'm Mr. Go Get It to come back with it. I just like showing how invested I am in this shit. So we can take Indian back to the medieval. Yeah. And don't forget. Yeah, I want to see something live. Uh-oh. Yeah, we got Ellie. Ellie, what they call him? Ellie? We got him in the trunk. That guy? That's your friend? That's your buddy?
Staunchly abolitionists, staunchly against buying and selling, and they refused race altogether.
Nigga, this BCU.
They refused the language of race.
Yeah, that's good.
Motherfucking. We want freedom. Or we are radical Christians. But that is the sort. That is the anxiety that was being. Those are the people who were being contested. Anyway, I'm talking too much, y'all. Ask me questions because I'm happy to try to explain. Does this make sense, or does it? Maybe you already knew this. I'm curious.
Yeah, I think that is. My name is Hannibal James, and I think it's a couple of intricacies that's probably that you might be unaware of or you might left out. I know like that, like in Virginia, Maryland, around the 1660s, it was an issue with indentured servants. Well, let me back up. Yeah. I know that the English was classifying so-called Scottish and Irish people as Negroes. It's called the race diagram. And it shows the Caucasian, it shows the Irish person, and it shows the Negro side by side. It's from the 1800s.
Yeah.
Here's another point where it was a problem with a lot of indentured servants running away when you look into the court cases, especially the women, because they were getting raped and they was getting beaten. You know, then they was having black children. So the indentureship, once they start having these black children, they start getting like 10 years. The woman to get 10 years as a slave or indentured servant, or her child to get forever. Yeah. The guy, the male, whether it's a Native American or African, he'll get 10, 20 years. But this was the Catholic Church and like these Christian entities you talk about. Yeah. You talk about Barbados. Another point you made about Barbados. I know about the time around 1619, it was a skirmish or something with England and Ireland. And I know that England was Shanghaiing folks. And I know that they were taking white women and the older teenage women down to Barbados to the guy who in the book, you talk about white slaves, you talk about these sex plantations. Now, they was breeding these women. So it's a lot. It's things that we glimpse over, and that is. But the story is, if we're gonna tell it, we got to tell it all. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where you're coming from, but it's little intricacies like that when you look into like the Jesuits and what they were saying about these Irish folks or these indentured servants. You know,
I'm business of a rider.
I think the Irish
by law locked in.
Well, thank you for bringing that. Those are really powerful parts of that complexity. I mean, I'm trying to forgive me if I'm making it. I'm skipping over some of that rich history because I don't mean to. I mean, a lot of that's in my book.
What's up,
but
the Jaguar?
The Irish are particularly interesting because they were colonized by the British at the same moment that the New World is being exploited. And so it is, the so-called redlegs, they were called. The Irish, I mean, Cromwell invaded Ireland and it just transported a lot of...
Hey, the redlegs. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Hold on. Where's she at? Where's she at? God damn, fellas, I'm looking for you to drop that red leg history. Damn, what is it? My bad. I don't know my way around it. But I wanted to pull that up and show Felder having that conversation with Dr. David. Okay, damn, I can't find it. My bad. Man, I wanted to show Felder having that conversation with Dr. David.
People to the New World. And so the Irish were
juicy, like a plum,
part of a colonial,
like a plum,
forced labor project.
What's up, famo?
What is particularly tricky and vexing about that story, though, is that the Irish were not. I mean, I don't want to like recently, and I would say in the last, half century, last 30 years, even. A lot of Irish, some Irish,
quit being bad,
American racists have really taken hold of this idea that the Irish were enslaved. And so they have this argument about Irish slavery. And they say, and there's one, I had this poster I was going to share with y'all, but my computer's not working. But it shows, it says the letters are, they were Irish and they were enslaved, far worse than any black slavery in history. And it's on written letters over a Confederate flag.
Over Confederate flags. Irish were enslaved worse than blacks. Well, the Irish were what niggas would misclassify as black. So, hold on. Topcatz finna send the bat signal out. Shout out to my bodyguard, Mike Easton, man, out of Washington, D.C. Man, you coming down? Mike, tell me you coming down to D.C. We already got like 2-3 D.C. people coming down. Dan Calloway gonna be there. Mama Calloway coming. Red Pill, Blue Pill coming. And Mama Pill coming. Man, listen. Shout out to Little Taj Tariq Bay. Yes, in the team are coming down. We're gonna have a lot of legends in their own right. And we want to make sure everyone get their follow. We don't give flowers, we give feathers. Make sure everyone get their feathers. Check. So yeah, man. This gonna be big, man. I might invite Ali Muhammad, man, Chief Amaru.
And so what they're saying is, some of these Irish nationalists, is that Irish slavery was.
I apologize, y'all, for pausing. Is Boo gonna be there? Voodoo say I'm coming. God damn it, I'm what? Voodoo say she will be in Ace Time Voodoo, and she bringing them dogs with her. Woo! She bringing them dogs with her.
Way worse than African enslavement, and so they're making a clear comparison, and they're creating a zero sum, kind of like where ours is.
Yeah, I agree with you on that point when you said that.
But they're using white victimhood. That's the point. They're like, and they're missing the fact that the Irish, many of them, were working with enslaved Africans to fight for freedom.
Yeah, a lot of the Irish bought into the separation, like you said, that the planners were worried about the unification between these Irish and these slaves, so they came up with that terminology of being white in the 1662. I forgot what's the name of the case.
1662 is when that's a key case when it's when reproduction is made, like in Virginia. Where the mother's child.
Don't let him get that outside foot on you. That's what Crawford did to Canelo all night. Don't let him do that and turn and he can shoot. And you can't get out. So, boom. Y'all know fundamentals over here. Footwork. But we learn to punch, nigga. We learn defense. And we learn footwork. We learn how to dance. We learn how to swim and not get wet.
If the mother is enslaved, her child is enslaved.
Right.
but the language of whiteness doesn't. It hasn't even arrived. It's not until the 1680s. It comes later. Like you won't find the only whites you find in the English language. We got 2 months. Weird are these convicts, and that's in the 1670s, and then also whites like are described Muslims who are being trafficked. So it's not what I expected there. But what happens after is so interesting. Then it's like a great example of the Irish black, like I guess I would call it possibility. Is another example of it is in the New York City's Servant Slave Rebellion in 1741. And the key ringleaders are these two people, an Irish servant named Peggy, who was in love with an enslaved African named Caesar. We don't know his name beyond Caesar. And they were the ringleaders of the Servant Slave Rebellion. And there were a bunch of buildings were being burned down on the waterfront, and there was a kind of investigation after these fires were started, and they uncovered a plot in which this Irish and enslaved cohort were seeking freedom, and they were seeking to find common to gain the strength, to gain the cooperation of the Spanish, and to kick the English out of New York City. And and what's so interesting, but it was an Irish black kind of conspiracy. And then there were a whole bunch of people were convicted, and a whole bunch of people were hung. But the prosecutor, a man named Daniel Horseman, tried to get everyone to confess to a crime. The plot was to kill all the white people. And if you confess to that, you'd save your life. So a lot of people who were, charged with plotting this conspiracy said, yeah, it was all about trying to kill white people. But about 30 people who refused, i.e. the ringleaders, refused to say that.
He making us feel real bad. Woo, white folk got treated so bad, we might need to get him reparations. Woo, he just made the white, we just did the white folks so bad. Oh, they did. I just feel so sorry for them. Oh, I'm just feeling sorry. Oh, we got these white folks. Ain't nobody. Why they messing with these white folks? Why y'all down there fucking with them folks? Spody said he already booked. Stop playing. Stop playing. Central Florida, I'm booked. Yeah, okay. Constance say, shout out Polk County. I got people in Lakeland. Look at that, Spody. Spody, I know you know what Lakeland is, man. Turn up. Ooh, and y'all wrong for how y'all treated them white folk. Woo, Jesus ain't gonna bless you. Y'all just, woo, he just, man. I feel sorry for him. I think we should give him reparations.
And what they said on their, as they're about to be hung or burned at the stake, it's about freedom. That was the plot. And they had a vision of sailing with the Spanish to, of all places, a place of freedom, which was the Great Dismal Swamp of North Carolina.
I just want to pose a question.
Yeah.
So how does the race, language, and whiteness correlate to the political order, as far as in a white man being a free person a free person in law, and a black man being a dead man in law? And how does that relate to race, language, and the translate from the British Empire and all that?
So this is what I was sort of surprised by. That is what you summarized it beautifully. Like that is clearly in place by the late 18th century. But for a long time, it's Christians who had power, Christian servants who had rights, and whites and blacks were not. So like white peoplehood takes a while to emerge. And even when whiteness becomes a site of political power, of freedom, like to conflate those, there are all these unfree whites. And so it's not enough to just like assert that white people have something in common, their skin color. That doesn't address the anxiety that trafficked whites or servants might rebel. So it's this idea of white suffering that is the thing that becomes persuasive to people. I guess that's my argument, is that the white race, the idea of a unified white race, only becomes really persuasive when people believe that white people suffer because of their skin color, which is a lie.
Yeah, because to my knowledge, it's like Irish and Scottish and these people was just accepted into whiteness, the white class. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but not not initially. That's the thing. So like they weren't considered to be, and this is the whole discourse about the Irish not being white. I mean, they were like, I can't remember. Yeah, like they were described, the N-word was used to describe the Irish in the early 19th century, and they were discriminated against, but they did have the right to vote. That's key.
Can I intervene? Can I intervene for a second?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I appreciate, you coming on, man, and I like, your studies, but I do want to let it be known that I think that we confuse these people, the Caucasian Irish and the Caucasian Scots as original Irish and Scots. They're converts. The same way that the majority of those people who are classified as Jews are converts. They're not crypto. If they're not crypto Jews, or if they're not the original Irish or the original Scots, then they're only converts into the Scottish so-called. It's just like me being born in China. Then I can literally say I'm Chinese by nationality, but by bloodline, I would only be a convert into the Chinese nation. That's the first thing. The second thing is that that was one of the main reasons why those Irish and they weren't considered white until, what was it? It was the Irish, it was the Jews, and it was the Italians as well. They weren't considered white until 1950 something.
Yeah, a lot later.
And as far as and I hear people always speak on the African slave trade. That particular slave trade is mythological in its origin. There were no 350 years of people going to Africa, getting 12.5 million slaves and transporting them on 35 to 40,000 ships over the course of 350 years.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So the people that were here in this land on Turtle Island that were considered slaves were basically prisoners of war on their own lands.
Yeah. No, I think that's powerful, and I also think, I mean, this is where, like, I'm part of what I wanted to, and I'm trying to straighten out, and this is hard work because there's a lot of complexity to the history itself. But there's no question that the systematic enslavement of Africans, it just dwarfs any other coerced migration in history.
When you say Africans, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about people out of Central and West Africa, out of Senegambia.
That's what I was saying, is that we were told that there were approximately 12.5 million people transported from Africa to North America over the course of 350 years by way of 35 to 40,000 slave ships. That didn't take place. The majority of those particular transportations of people of our skin complexion mostly came from this region and were transported over into other parts of Europe. But so far as people being transported from Africa over the course of a 350-year period on gas chambers, which they call slave ships, it didn't exist, and it would have been impossible.
Well, I mean, we might differ there. I think that, like, I mean, it's pretty well documented, but that's okay. I guess, I mean, you're right.
Let me help you out right here.
Yeah.
So this is about where we probably are gonna go astray, and I wanted to thank you for sharing what you did.
Yeah.
And I hope that we have gotten out of it. Mafia, don't you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just including, like,
I mean, because he is a guest, and
Listen, I can take any criticism you want. It's all good. I mean,
it's not criticism.
Yeah.
You are about to be introduced to some facts. And it's quite contrary. So Mafia, go ahead.
I hear you. Okay.
And welcome, Topcatz. Big Chief.
That's why I was bringing up the topic of, the word white, you know what I'm saying? Because white deals with the law aspect, and being freed in law. And, know, when we talk, like Horace was just saying, the Black Europeans, all these people come from a melanated source. So the titles, once the titles was overthrown by the religious aspect, the religious aspect of the war, the religion was the political power and the military force. So through those things is which the power structure came to overthrow these people of the native lands. See, when we talk about enslaved Africans, we still not talking about slavery in America or the war that was in America, the Gullah Wars. And when the land was overthrown. Yeah.
That's so, linking those up is really interesting. I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, one thing that I guess I just want to maybe try to clarify, whiteness in law was, it took a while to be defined as a privilege. And you can see it in 1790 is a good example of this. The naturalization law that allows any, people who are new to the United States now, the U.S. nation, to become a citizen. You can naturalize if you're free and you're white. But they have both of those words. They don't just say white. The reason being that there are a lot of whites who are unfree, and they're not allowed to naturalize.
But isn't a North African white?
Yes, and North Africans are considered white. They were considered white by census takers, but then it was and so this, who gets to control the category of white is a really interesting political history. So some groups are not considered, who are phenotypically white are not considered white. My favorite example of this are Finnish Americans. This blew my brain. So in the 1900 census, Finns, these are Northern Europeans. They're blonde, blue-eyed, whatever. They're not put down, the census takers didn't put down white. And the reason they didn't is because they didn't want them to naturalize. So they didn't want them to vote. And the reason is because they were politically radical. The Finnish immigrants come into the country and mostly go into the upper Mesabi range in Minnesota. And they were syndicalists. They believe in socialism, and that the people doing the census work, but we don't want them in our country. So we don't want to give them the right to vote. So they're not white. So
let's hear from our let's hear from our guest that's just coming in. Shout out to Brother Wells coming in as well.
Hey, pleasure.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things is this. That I've noticed, and having been in Ivy League schools and this, that, and the other, that we kind of naturally take for granted that the information that we're getting is accurate because whatever, it's history 101, whatever. And then when I discovered, I said, well, who would have founded a Brown University or whatever, that kind of thing. And then you see the bent, right? So recently I asked AI a question. just to give you an idea. I can't remember exactly what the question was, but it was an elaborate question. So then they gave me a response, right? So then I said, well, what are your sources for this, right? And then they quoted, whatever, university or this, that, or whatever. But I'm saying if the structure of the university's origin was to suppress the information for their value, right? Yep. You and me are in a difficult situation because we have to be able to put a fine-tooth comb on that. So in other words, when we're talking about race and stuff like that, who is making that determination? You feel me?
Yeah, no, I hear you. And that is
so the relationship of the for lack of a better word, Native American, right? Is going to be qualitatively different.
Oh, completely. Yeah.
From a European bit, even though, you know, that person has the alkaloids of being a scholar. So that's the hard part. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times when I'm discussing stuff with different people, I say to them, I say, well, have you ever read a book by a Native American, or have you ever read a book by a black person? So how the fuck excuse me, how can you come out here and say that this is the truth? You know?
Yeah.
So that's a question. That's
a good question.
Inquiry. Rather, that's an inquiry. Yeah.
That's inquiry. Yeah. So I appreciate that question because, like, how do we know what we know? Straight up. And like, I mean, I can tell you. So, I mean, I guess the short answer is that, I mean, I spent 22 years researching this book, and I read thousands upon thousands of pages of correspondence in across Great Britain and North America, looking, and I was trying to find when did people who look like me begin referring to themselves as white. Because you get far enough back in time, they didn't. They were known as Christians. They were known as Scots, or they were known as Irish, or they were known as Englishmen, or what have you.
Where did you come? I apologize for just.
Yes, sir. Let's get a word from Topcatz.
Let me give him a proper introduction. Dr. Gunther Peck of Duke University. Meet Dr. Legendary Big Chief Topcatz of here.
Hold on, let's get some flames in here. Dr. Gunner, meet Dr. Legendary Topcatz.
Yes, sir. Let's get a word from Topcatz.
Let me give him a proper introduction. Dr. Gunther Peck of Duke University. Meet Dr. Legendary Big Chief Topcatz of Houston.
Of Houston, Texas. Coast-side, eh? Cool side of India, man. Cherokee, Choctaw. We can go on and on about this. How you doing? Hope your blades sharpen. Hope you sharpen your blade through the night, Brother Gunner. I'm curious to know. You said after your 20 years of research, what conclusion you came to? Because I was under the impression that white is not biology; it's ideology.
Great.
So, in the colonial term, you spoke about the 1790 Naturalization Act. We also have, at that time, the people who were known as Irish, I heard you speak of them, Scots, Swedish, Italians, an increase of mankind by Benjamin Franklin, 1777. He speaks about all of them being dark-complected people.
Yes.
Swarthy. Yes. And he didn't want to bring them over to the Americas. We also gave me 3 yeses. So why you tell us what you just told us if you gonna come back and say, you saying these white Irish were treated so bad? And I turn around, Brother Horry tell him, and I turn around and put the sources on him, and he agreed. Have a pen saying that the Indians that he met in Pennsylvania reminded him of the people of England, not Africa, because of their dark skin. I say through my research, we even find that the kings of Europe, if we're going to come through from we can go down from King Edward Woodstock all the way down, all the Norman invasion, each king queen was melanated. The Stuarts, who founded the Virginia Company in London, 1606, Hold on. Bro, do you know when Edward of Woodstock lived, Prince Edward, the Black Prince? You know when the Norman invasion was? We talking 10th century. And like I said, everybody that sat on those thrones after the king and queen were melanated. He said yes. So why you ain't start off talking about this? Why nigga gotta put the jab, put you on the other end of that jab? Outside, inside. I can fight on the inside. My chronology cold. And I'm gonna check him on his chronology, right? Because I need somewhere we gonna get it. Let's work. Hey, get the likes up, family. Get the likes up. Share the video while I support. Go get your tickets out Big Chief University. Come to the event. We got 15 VIP passes left, and we're doing no more. All right. The catering, all of that shit there, the seating is only 50. It went from 35 to 50. So we got 15 left. If y'all want them, come get them. The bitches will be gone by next week.
Yes.
Virginia. Yes, sir. The stewards, King Charles II is the black boy king. I just come from Europe in Litchfield.
Yes.
In Litchfield, 3 hours, about an hour and a half outside of London. Mm-hmm. They actually have a statue of him as an melanated man. Oliver Cromwell is one of my late grandfathers, so I'm into medieval history. Yeah, his second daughter Elizabeth is one of my great grandmothers.
Wow.
So are you familiar with Dr. David Iltis?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Can I play a clip? OG Donnie, you mind if I play a clip? Do y'all mind? Is it okay? He know Dave. Okay, all right. He know Dave. So it's like a clique. It's like a fraternity. Okay. Duke. You from Duke, right? Professor, doctor, PhD, and masters at teachers at Duke University. Okay. So we got Duke, we got Emory, we got Rice, we got Harvard. Okay, that worked.
Come on with it.
Okay, so I had the privilege to sit down with Dr. David Iltis, and
wow. Awesome.
He said, awesome. Look,
I gotta pull it up. My bad.
Of America.
Yeah, that's for sure.
4 million people that are speaking about during the time of the
offspring would also be
people of America.
Yeah, that's for sure.
4 million people that are speaking about during the time of the Civil War.
Hey, I'm gonna get your
amendment, which Trump is using right now as his primary. He's using the 14th Amendment, birthright citizens. 4 million people, as he said, it was to women and children of slaves. So I don't think that would include European, because in my family, slave schedules. Now remember earlier, he brought this same topic up about the mother, the child Africans holding the same status as slave as the mothers, right? So that's why I came. My grandfather, with his family, came from Switzerland back in the 1700s. But he married a Cherokee Indian. Now, the Cherokee Indian is his wife, but she is listed as his slave, and their son is listed as the slave as well. But he being of European stock, he's not. So that takes me also in the writing, in that legislation, it was written that it was for Indians not taxed, or Indians who basically left their tribe and became U.S. citizens. So. And it also made sure that it said that the aliens were not included, would be considered the African in the situation, because in America, not until 1870, the Africans get ability to even own land or anything like this. So this would have to be talking about the indigenous people of America.
Right.
Say to that.
Yeah. So I agree.
Oh, another thing I noticed, you spoke about the slave ports, the actual slave ports where they were coming from.
Mm-hmm.
And in my research, I'm not finding, I've seen some certain numbers, which were a lot, but when we look into the European, it's not taxonomy or race in it because it was both. And we can see that through the military roads, the militia roads, also through the Jacobite gleanings where we see the Jacobite defenders of the Stuart Kings. Some are fair skinned, some are swarthy, which would be dark skinned, some are actually labeled them as dark skinned. I want to go here. Are you familiar with Jeremy Belknap of Boston?
I'm not. No.
Belknap wrote 40 letters on the inquiry of merchants and other prominent persons who have been active during the period. Basis of interviews, documented evidence, he came to the conclusion that African trade was never greatly prosecuted to a great extent by the merchants of Massachusetts. I cannot find more than 3 ships a year belonging to this port were ever employed in the African trade. Now,
that sounds about right.
Okay, so if you add the American Indian into the story, the Europeans, for the indentured servitude, the numbers that they speak about on the Africans, we actually see a European, for the European side. This is Gaddison. His estimates was 300,000 to 400,000. That was 1780. Most migrants went to the West Indies. New England received 2% until the Virginia Company in London. And so the treatment of indentured servants has been the subject of much debate and discussion. If runaways as an indicator, then treatment was bad. In the 18th century, there were ads in newspapers describing runaways sought by masters. This is where Brother Sword, he's going with the, how do we differentiate the two? Now, chattel slavery. I stopped it there, but my point that I wanted to get was, the kings who gave the charters. I'm not into the taxonomy. I heard you earlier say that, they try to make white people the creator of all of this, and I see it another way. The people that were in power were people that looked like us. Here's King James right here. We get from the court of Queen of Matthew writing. Page 40, he writes Charles was dark-skinned. He was named the Black Boy King after Henrietta Maria, his mom, who also whispered the start the War of Roses, coming from the Medici family. They funny, but I stand there. What's your thoughts?
It's really interesting. That's where was that interview? When did that happen?
When did that happen? Nigga, why? What they got the nigga answer my question? What we doing, family? That nigga, that fucked him up. Damn, when that shit happened? You fucked over my big homie, fam? Man, so you ran the fade with my big homie and you ran him through that? Y'all ran, so y'all lined him up. Damn, when that happened? He ain't told me, he ain't tell me about it. So y'all lined my big homie up, man. So wait a minute, what you telling me? You finna do me the same way? With the hat turned backwards. That's what I do. I'm a mercenary. It happened about a month and a half ago. Okay. He actually want to use some of the data that we have, that I have found concerning the American domestic slave trade, which went from the colonies over to the West Indies. And that was my thing. The numbers that they speak about for Africans, this 12.5 number, that he had to even say himself in 1970 on the census, there were less than 1% of Africans in the U.S. The major focus of the slave trade would have been in Spanish or Portuguese America, South America, Brazil,
That's right. Yeah, they didn't know, and they certainly didn't. Yeah, the people didn't come directly to the United States, or because that
they West Indies. But we do know from we can go from the Mohegan War if we want to start from the first one. Peter Manute and them, the West Indies Company. You'll get and then you get the Mohegans versus the Mohawks. And then you get the Queen Anne Wars, 1701, 1703, by the Tuscaroras, Pequot Wars. But all of these wars are sending prisoners of war over to the West Indies. But it's the same story that they're telling us happened with Africans. But instead of the African, it's really the European, because even on slave voyages, the methodology shows us that they can prove 5 million voyages coming from Europe to the West Indies without ever going to Africa. But they don't have the data for African. They don't have the data for the African narrative. But they can fill in the holes and have the captains, the names of the ships, and these manifest. But they don't find the African.
So I don't. I mean, I have to say I didn't. And David Elsis is like, he is one of the.
Yeah, he's one of the top.
I mean, he's done more on that database.
Yeah, Doctor, listen to me. They put a lot of respect on Dave's name. You gotta understand, Dave is an OG. Dave is a triple OG. So he like, damn, nigga, when you did that, you fucked over my nigga like that. You kicked him while he was dying and that, man, you damn. Dave, like he say, Dave is at the top. Dave like one of them niggas that sit on the throne in they world. Fam, you fucked over my big homie. Goddamn, Donnie set me up, and Donnie ain't even on the panel no more. Look, he took himself down. This shit is, y'all done ran me into an ambush. They done walked me to an ambush.
And made it public so you can search it.
Oh, we ain't done. We just getting started.
It's pretty much.
We just getting warmed up.
Teams.
I just wanted to let him know. I just wanted to put something on him to make him respect me. Now we finna get an honest conversation. His feet too slow for me. That's for one. And I think a lot of times when people read how my mind works, they'll get so into what the reader is writing that they can't assess that information for themselves and be able to, when people say cross-reference, take the meat, spit out the bone. They take it and they understand it as how the writer wrote it. And I see a lot of people get caught up on that. That's what make them long-winded. And I always tell a nigga, shorten up on your punches. Shorten your punches up. You throwing looping hands like Canelo, and what Crawford do. When he go wide, we go to the body. You swing that wide shit, nigga, we going to the body. And we gonna turn you. We gonna go to the body and we gonna turn you.
Reset.
But reset.
No, I think you're absolutely, everything you're saying makes sense. It's a global, and I also think we get sometimes the terms get
Lolita.
One of the things I discovered in my research, I also looked at the Atlantic.
I looked at the Mediterranean. Now.
Right. The Mediterranean's a really different story, especially when it comes to.
They said what Donnie went. Donnie said, man, I don't want him to think I set it up. I'm just gonna tell nigga I want to go make a pot of coffee. I ain't want to be there for this shit. I knew Topcatz fin. I'm not finna, because he looking for Donnie. Man, I had went and got a pot of coffee, man. Tea kettle went off in that bitch, man. Yeah, I had to go get it. That was hollering. I had to go get it. Yeah. I don't know what happened.
Race. So one thing, I guess, I don't know, maybe I wonder if maybe what I'm saying is.
I would ask you what time frame we're in. We're looking at. Yeah. I want to know that, what we looking at so I can know what we plan. Okay, then you're going to sit and we're going to work.
Yeah, 1619.
Okay, bet. Thank you. That helps a lot. 1619. Let's work. Okay, 1619 in the Mediterranean. Okay. 1619
to 1819 is the 2 centuries I tackled. And so in the Mediterranean, like it's the trafficking of people, everyone's trafficking. like Europeans are trafficking North Africans and vice versa.
Right.
People are flowing in east, west, north, south.
No. We did. I'm just born.
A lot of
just touching it, pop side.
You know, African people working in the Mediterranean.
Donnie, North African.
I mean, the Mediterranean includes North Africa. So, like,
yeah. So that's why instead of the West African area they give us, they overlook the presence of the North African, which is very clear, especially when we see with the conquistadors or the Sevilles, or the Castilians.
Yeah, and it makes the counting questions a little more complicated, to be sure. But the thing that I think, maybe I'm curious what you all think about this, because this is what I discovered. And again, I did not quite expect this, so I don't know if I tried to make sense of it in my book, but that think of the work that race does and the work that skin color do. Skin color is not the same as race historically.
Right. Yeah. Taxonomy, call it is.
It's just a taxonomy. It was a way of counting people. It was a way of buying and selling people.
That's just me. He in the high going, so that's just me touching his glove. Just keeping distance. He talking, but you know, I'm gonna put that lead hand out there, touch his guard, keep him thinking. You know, we're not sitting in one spot. We working, you thinking, but he worried about what's coming back. So I won't touch them gloves. Yeah, with that lead.
And it didn't mean that it didn't have the same meaning that it does later. That it acquired over time by the definitely in the late 17th century and early 18th century. There's a longer period there, and so in the Mediterranean, it doesn't. You actually want to get bought and sold because that's how you get back. You want to be ransomed. So if you're captured by someone else in a boat, they're going to sell you for ransom, and that's how you made money. You're trafficking people, and so the goal was to, if you were enslaved, was to pay. You'd try to get people to pay your ransom if you had people who could.
Yeah, and if you did, it would be an indentured servant contract, most likely.
Yeah, and if you didn't, you ended up in what was called galley slavery. You were working just the hardest thing in the Mediterranean. But it's not the same system as
the U.S. or colonial, the Western.
Sugar and then later cotton and
molasses and things of that nature.
So I mean,
so I'm working. When he working, I'm working. In boxing, we call throw when he throws. And I'm just want to outset him. Because as you see, when he get to going, he long-winded, he be looking up and he gathering his thoughts. You can't do that with me. I already know my next 3-4 moves. So that's why when he talking, I'm talking to him, adding on. I'm agreeing with him in the sense because his answers, and I'm just adding on to him. So we're on the same page. He may think, but really I'm just keep touching him, keep turning him, keep touching him. Let him know that I'm there. It's a walk down, but I'm just keeping that presence there, make him feel my presence there. So he gonna watch what he say, and he trying to catch his thoughts. I'm fucking his thoughts up because he have to sit, but I'm just touching him, and then I'm gonna get off him.
And they do kind of come together over time. So that's the other thing I found is that it doesn't. They have relationships. There are people moving between Atlantic and Mediterranean throughout the whole period. So I mean,
can I make a quick statement right quick?
Yeah, jump in.
I think that the people get confused between the terms race, nationality, and bloodline. They're three different things.
Yes.
For starters, race is people who are racing for the land, for the resources, and for the wealth. Mm-hmm. Just like the people in this land who are classified as blacks or African Americans, if you want to be politically correct, we're not in the race. Because just like Dr. Claude Anderson said that we own 0.01% of the nation's wealth for the last 150 years. So we're most definitely not in the race. Therefore, in all terms, we couldn't even possibly be racist if we wanted to, because it couldn't affect anybody in their economics or any other matter. Now, when it comes to dealing with nationality, we're talking about a system of paperwork that was brought over here by the conquistadors and the smart guys from England to start classifying people under their European and Roman legal system, dealing with their language and legalese. And now we're dealing with bloodlines. We're talking a whole different ball game here. So a lot of people start claiming these names that are associated with the bloodlines, but they don't even have any ties to the bloodlines, only the names.
Well, sometimes they do, because shout out to Brother Horace, Shot Town in the building. Horace out of Southside Chicago, OG. But I know they era, they're a little more, Black Power. But in today, that's not something that can help us. It's a strength that we need because of the unity. Something we can all come together on. But in 2025, it's hard to do that. And that narrative don't fit, because we want to let go of the victim. Like the race, it's a race. What they say, it's a race, and the black man is at the end of the race. So we're not even in the race. So I think that's where he was going with it. One of the things we have to understand is, after 1788, after the Compromise Act, 1877, you would have wealthy Negro families breed into white families. Sister One, and the white families would take power. A great example I always like to give is a guy named Daniel Murray out of Washington, D.C. Daniel Murray trained his protege. His protege ended up being his boss, and they demoted him. So what he did was went back and wrote, and he was into the Niagara movement, all of these movements led up into the NAACP, Joel Springham. His brother went to Harvard. Y'all see Peck face, huh? Y'all see the Duke professor face. He like, this nigga got gold teeth in his mouth. He turned his head backwards. He look like a rapper. But this motherfucker is running history like I ain't never heard it before. That nigga is listening to my every word. Look how he's sitting up. Met W. Du Bois, how they brought him up. Anyway, but this guy, Daniel, he goes back and writes a book on the bloodlines of these people, of all these wealthy Negro families that hid their crime by breeding into white families and hiding the wealth that they had stolen from people here. At that time in Washington, D.C., after the Civil War, Washington, D.C. was all melanated. Wealthy melanated family. People don't like to talk about free Negroes here. We can go back to the 11 Africans that they say they brought into New York. Those 11 Africans, which had Anthony Portuguese, and they've been living in Portugal this whole time, but they end up getting their freedom. And but my point to it is, they made a buffer zone between them and the Indians. But when I went back to the records they got patents, and the patents have free Negroes. The captain, Warren DeVries, he's the captain. He's a free Negro, and he's Portuguese. But they was as if they were white to race baiters. And that's something that we can't let, because the story isn't being written by them. The story being written by someone like you. Your teacher, pretty sure look like you. Your pastor, I'm pretty sure look like you. So after the Civil War, they put a lot of what happened on the British, when the truth is the U.S., that was created in 13 colonies, was a collaboration of American Indians who had a government who had government already before they got here.
The Iroquois.
Yes, the Haudenosaunee, where you had the Onondaga and the Onondaga who helped form the Constitution, the laws, Articles of Confederation, and the Constitution. You get that in H. Res. Cons. 331, where they U.S. acknowledged that the Iroquois helped create it. They created it after what's called the Great Law of Peace. And so, I wouldn't say in a victim way, because all the way up into and now Abraham Lincoln, me and him share the same grandma, Nancy Hanks, from Virginia to Kentucky, down to Alabama to Texas. So that Hanks line, that Shifley line, but which is actually take you back to the Plantagenets and the Plantagenets, the Tudors, and also the Ruiks. If anybody know about the Ruiks who took over the Vikings that took over Russia. Anyways, I say I land on this. I wouldn't make it into a race or someone did something to us. You have to understand the people that did this looked it like you, and so that's why it's important for us to know our bloodline, because if you know who you are and your story, we can get a better understanding on the past and what actually took place, instead of going by what these institutions have put out propaganda, to race bait or put each other against, as we've seen in the 20th century. Once Ellis Island and they were coming over and integrate, and they used the work in 1869. They had the labor conventions, but as they grew on, used these labor conventions in order to put the white against the blacks, and then
I think there's a lot of history. I mean, I think what I loved about what you just said is you actually summarized really effectively the really different ways this idea of race has worked. It's been skin color, it's also been nation, and it's also been bloodline. So and I think, and in some ways it's the relationship of those different ideas of race that I'm trying, and my book I'm is sort of explaining the origins of. So when I started the beginning of my story, when you look at the language of race, what does race mean? The word race. In the mid 1600s, and you'll see it most commonly connecting lineage, like the Tudor race or the Annesley race. They're talking about particular. They're talking about bloodlines, right? Usually,
everything is about the bloodline. Yes.
They're not talking about the white race. They're not talking about a black race here, right? So that comes quite a bit later. So, and I think what's really, and then nations are races, and that's totally true. That's even true today.
All this gonna change.
It was even true that before the event of the colonizers, race between black and white was almost the same equivalent of saying rich and poor. Yes, because you had the crypto Jews, who were known also as the Moranos, who are over in Europe, and one book that pinpoints this, very articulately, is the history of anti-Semitism. Mm-hmm. So even in that book, it explains how this particular bloodline of people, even though they could have been mixed, they could have been mulattoes, some were our color, copper color, and then some were 100% Caucasian, but they were a specific class of people who were pretty much running the show, and who probably pretty much running the show now. They're pitting all of the people against each other while they're sitting behind closed curtains eating caviar and who knows what else.
Well, that is happening, but we do have to understand, even when you're speaking about the Medano, I heard you say cryptos. You have the cryptos, but we'll go back to the Alhambra decree because you spoke about the Morenos. The real Christopher Columbus was actually a Moreno.
True.
Yeah, he was a Moreno. Look at Beck. His family, his real name is Sir Ferdinand Salvador Zarco.
Yeah, Columbus is a title. It's not a name, right?
And he was support his mother's side was supporting Jew. So his mother married the first, second Duke of Basia, who was Alfonso the fourth brother. So if you go to them, their grandfather bloodline is John the Gun. John the Gun is Henry the Navigator them's grandfather. So John, I don't know who John the Gun is. John the Gun, his son was George, and this is what's going to start the war because he took over power from Richard II. I think he just left London, and I took a picture next to Richard II at Westminster Abbey. Yeah, but so yeah, I wouldn't say I wouldn't just lump it all into one, but yeah, we do have the Morenos, and we do know 1517 Martin Luther, rebelled against it. Then John Calvin come, and then we have the Protestants, and that movement is gonna, the explosion of the Protestants. They're gonna come here. They're gonna go through eastern parts, even South Africa, and become the Boers. There, BOERS, which they had the war 1898, and they also fought alongside Hitler in World War II with the Nazis.
Hey, Topcatz, I got to ask you a question, brother. When you said about not lumping them into one, well, the only reason why that I was lumping them, so to speak, into one is because of this priesthood of the ones who could have been considered Scots or many other different names. Like Morenos was just, I thought it was a Latin term for Moors, as well as, like the Ashkenazis or the Zionists.
I get on there. Yes, sir. Well, the Morenos, they were the ones, even the wealthy family. That's why they said Queen Isabel and Ferdinand paid for the voyages for Columbus, which is totally false. The truth is they put them in contact with a guy by the name of Patrick Maguire. And that's why if we go to Ireland, there's a historical marker there that says Christopher Columbus came here and met an Amerindian man who changed his life. Well, y'all look this guy up, Patrick Maguire. Patrick Maguire. If you have a Mac on it, you're gonna, he's Irish, but he's gonna have some Scottish in there because the Macs come from MacDubs. Comes from the MacDubs family or dynasty, starting off with
that's the Black King, right?
Gave me and I'm sorry for that, Malcolm. No, Kenneth. I'm sorry, Kenneth.
Is that where you get the last name Douglas and stuff like that from?
McDonald's, Mac, it just means son of Doug. And
right.
Doug meant dark skin, at the same time. Yeah, but I wouldn't group them because that would be Portuguese line. Columbus was actually Portuguese, from Portuguese. So in Cuba, Portugal, they have a 7-foot statue of him under his real title, which would be Ferdinand Salvador Zarco. And he takes his brother's name. His dad is, or her dad is Giles Zarco, Columbus' grandfather, who was right-hand man to Henry the Navigator, who helped clear out the Moors. They fought against the Moors, and that is what turned Portuguese towards West Africa, the Sierra Leone region. So when they got there, they were speaking Arabic and writing what is called the Jami script. Now they go back to when the Moors first invaded. We go back to the 7th century, where they first invaded into West Africa and had horse trades and different trades come through there. So once the English get there, it wasn't until 1841 when they come with the Niger expedition. 1788, the African Association, which is to discover the interior parts of Africa. Because at that time, they had no idea of the interior parts, only the outskirts. And we read that through the Royal African Company, as they didn't find any gold or riches, and they wanted to throw the program away. But the governor, that was there for 10 years, said that they never had been outside the walls of the actual ports that they created there. And those people, those indigenous Africans who had babies by the Europeans and we had people from Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Long Island, Rhode Island. I want to throw that in there because they always make it as if it was just the Europeans, but the people from the 13 colonies of what we call New England were also had stocks inside of these trading companies, and a lot of these trading companies actually came from here and not there, because even here you have New London, Connecticut, you have Bristol, Connecticut, you have Bristol, Rhode Island. Well, these are the places where they built the boats from. So I just have Mystic, Connecticut, the largest maritime museum in the world, and this is where they built the timber, the wood, the boats from. And Rhode Island, Long Island, I'm sorry, Bristol, Rhode Island is right off the coast of the Atlantic, and that's where they really took to the warehouses. But the names Bristol, we know that because the Bristol in Europe, their maritime didn't pick up until later, late 19th century, 20th century. And I found it out as I went to Bristol in Europe. And so I traveled to get the research, and that's what they had led me to. Yeah. So, but I just said, I apologize, just to close. I said that because there was Portuguese, and then the French, the Huguenots, you spoke of the Huguenots, that'll be for French Protestants coming out of the Calvinist movements. Yeah. This is awesome. It's incredible history you've got. I wanted to say one thing that just adds on a little bit, but like one of the challenges about thinking about like, I guess I would say the kind of idea of race is that it's supposed to be maybe. Stick that jab on them, Chief. Keep working. Keep that jab on them. I think I'm a little more shocked of the punches that I'm throwing. I think I'm a little more shocked than he is. You know, like, how do this nigga know this shit? You know, I think I'm a little more flabbergasted than he is. Pure is that people are moving around all the time in this history. And one of the really powerful stories I encountered were these Irishmen who had been captured in the Mediterranean, North African and Muslim pirates. And then they converted to Islam and then got their own boats and went back and raided Ireland. They did the same thing, exactly. Yeah. And so, but they took all these Irish people and who then became fully part of like Morocco. So, like, if you were trying to, you know, like they're like to try to say Morocco or Moroccans had always been there. There's all these people who have been incorporated in over centuries of this trafficking of people. And for that matter, then people ended up in Ireland who were from North Africa too. So it's kind of the idea that there's going to be a pure bloodline is deceptive. And I think it's hard. You can try, but the history is people, right. People moving a lot, and that really it makes it a richer story. Right, richer story. It's not a problem. It's interesting. That's what we want. Yeah, it just makes it more tedious, you know, because it's hard. Any port city, we'll find a problem in any port city or trade city. We'll find that problem. As Morocco was once a Phoenician colony before the Moors. Even a lot of people think the Moors infection started in Morocco. No, it's not true. The Moors came there to invade what was already there. You had Celts. During the Iron period, that was there. You had different figures of so all kinds of people conflicting. It's not more than century. Yeah, no, it's a fascinating, really rich story. I guess I wanted to ask, well, like when you think about, I mean, I guess the thing that I also looked at in my book that I'm curious what you all make of. One of the things that gives whiteness its power and is that its mutability. It can change over time.
And that is, it's like revisable. It's always been revised, who is white and who's not. And that's kind of the way it's been able to become powerful. But the other thing is that people, when white people become, one way they express their perceived authority, I'm not saying it is that, is partly by when they start inventing their own identities and basically steal the identities of the people they've conquered. And there's this one, so back to Peter Williamson, he was this radical, but he also then, he sold his book by dressing up as a Delaware Indian and pretending to be a Delaware.
American.
And it's just kind of messed up. Like he's playing Indian, so-called.
Well, go back to Morocco too, you know.
Yeah, like he's, I mean, people are like, I guess is what I found. It's really interesting and kind of a mess. People are actually moving around what it is to be a Moroccan or an Irish person. And then also people are, more often that's white people who are doing this, but like who are pretending to be other people they're not.
Right.
And that even, so, I mean, this is the whole history of blackface, but also, you know, basically taking things from indigenous peoples' culture and history. The so-called improved order of red men. This is this little group, right, in the 19th century. And they're mostly Irish people. They're mostly
I apologize that. Yeah. I apologize because I usually don't get to talk to people about these type of topics. So like, you apologize, man. Red men.
A lot.
The other thing,
1758 Treaty of Easton. That's they brought in over 500 different chiefs and to settle. They really didn't want the Lenape to sign with to ally with the French, so they gave them land. They pushed them off into Wyoming, Pennsylvania. But out of that, you know, they had Tammany. But the Order of Red Men do everything that American Indian. They dress like the American Indian. The women's order to them is the Order of Pocahontas. So you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
1850s. They were created same time that the Eastern Stars. Okay,
well, they pretended, but they didn't really know. I mean, I'm more critical of them. I mean,
okay,
I'm critical of them too. I'm saying they cosplay faking. So we agree on that.
Nevada City, and they were Paiute Indian tribe #1, but they didn't know anything about the Paiute people.
Right.
The culture. They didn't know the language. They'd actually just attacked them a few years earlier, and then they pretended
that they were them.
They were there.
Exactly. That is go watch the Pocahontas effect.
There was military conquest, and then there was the
go watch the Pocahontas effect. Stop playing with me.
And the Paiute people, Winnemucca didn't have any. He was like, he pushed back. Like, that is bullshit. But like, they were.
And it's hundreds of those stories. And
yeah, I mean, that's a common theme. So I don't know.
You know what
to me, but not, you know.
One of the things that I found helpful, right?
Yeah.
Because in other words, in the history, right, we have all of these different treaties and this, that, and the other, right? And treaties are written, right? So quite naturally, because of the history of that, you know, I couldn't really trust that, right? So I did in the 80s. I went to France. I had went there with a girlfriend, whatever, and we visited the Louvre museum. And what I noticed was the paintings, the older paintings. Okay, so my background is art, right?
Okay.
So what it told me, because in 1822. They invented photography, right? Okay.
Wow.
So prior to that, if you wanted to capture a moment of history, you had to paint it, right?
Hey, y'all ready to see a walk down? Y'all ready to see me really walk to them?
And in the British Museum, and what you see is a very different picture, right? Because a lot of times those artists were commissioned by the captains of the ship or whatever to prove to the king and the queen and what have you what was going on in the Americas. So you may find that researching in that area, the area of the art prior to photography, may help.
It's a great suggestion. Because I did not do that work. I have a good colleague who is actually doing that work now, and she just presented her work here.
But I can see your passion, and that's
I
want
to understand it. I don't. I guess for me, I've always felt, and I just, one reason I'm interested in this is partly because I lived overseas. I lived in Greece for several years, and I learned. Well, it was 1986, and there was a big rally downtown in Thessaloniki, and some friends took me down there, and it was 100,000 people celebrating the anniversary of the Haymarket 7. These are the 7 anarchists who were
watch this setup from Chief.
Tried and unfairly convicted of a crime they didn't commit and hung. But I was learning U.S. history from the outside looking in.
There you go.
And that's really when I realized, I want to be an historian. Because these Greek friends were teaching me about my history in a way that I could not see. I had not seen. I mean, I'd heard of the Haymarket 7, but I didn't know how or why they were so powerful as figures to the Greek people at that moment. And they were the Haymarket 7.
Was it bloodline?
No, they just knew the history. These were
the reason that they were so prominent, the people that they were speaking of.
They had just read the history. These were 7 anarchists. None of them were Greek, but it was a moment in Greece where they wanted the United States to get rid of its bases, and that was the slogan. And so they had chosen a group of Americans that they identified with. They were all immigrant workers. A couple of them were Italian, one Irishman. I don't think any were Greek. And they were seeing in the history of the nation I had lived in, history that I was only dimly visible to many Americans. And I was inspired. I guess I was really inspired by that, because I feel like we can, as much as we do know from the inside out, we need to see it from the outside in. Maybe that's the double vision that W.E. Du Bois talks about. Not really. He's talking about the necessity of survival.
Sure.
If you're Black in the country, but and I really, to me, is an opportunity to understand that richness and that complexity. And I should say, as a student of history, I'm still a student. I'm learning literally, and the archive kicked my ass. It was humbling.
I wouldn't use W. Du Bois as a good example, because he was
double consciousness.
He was basically paid for. If we go through his records, he used numbers from people that weren't his. He had numbers all the way up to 100 million in the slave trade. He was funded by Joel Springham. That's the founder of NAACP. There's also the guy who sent him over to France for the conference to make sure he silenced the Negro from speaking about what their experiences in World War I. Which also was paid. So the Pan-African Congress comes in 1919, the year after, which was also paid for by Joel Springham. Now, the relationship began at Harvard. Joel Springham's brother, W. Du Bois at Harlem.
Do you know this book by my friend and colleague Adrienne Lent Smith? She wrote a great book about Black veterans in World War I and how incredibly powerful they were in building a freedom struggle in the United States. right after the war.
Okay, now I'm not familiar with the book, but I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Yeah, Adrienne Lentz Smith, she's awesome. She's a terrific historian. So, listen, I appreciate your skepticism. Some of you have been quite skeptical of like what official history is, and I appreciate that. I mean, for me, I can say as an historian, I believe in better history that's more, inclusive.
Tangible.
That explains complexity. That's what I'm striving to write, and that's what I'm striving to understand. And I don't want to mythologize. The reason being that mythologies have so often been to hurt people who don't deserve it. The mythologies have been just like history.
One second.
I
want 1 second, brother. I apologize. I wanted to say this to Doc. I think a way that you can do that and get real results is something you said earlier about the bloodline. If we stick to the bloodline, then we can trace it back. We already become historians because we're looking in the past, but it connects the dots that are missing. So I ask you this question. Since your topic is more about the white race, how they
he said I'm a skepticism.
I ask you this: what year did your family get to America? If you don't mind me asking.
My family.
Yes, sir.
So different bloodlines. We're a bunch of French, Swedish, English, Irish.
Now hit him with that big shit, Chief. Now walk to him.
There is some Asian.
Appreciate my skepticism. You're a historian.
Central Asian.
Well, nigga, let's walk.
But we don't really know. We haven't been able to find out who they are. But what we've been able to find out mostly through genealogy is just that we were all farmers. For every corner of them.
I mean, like, do you know what year they got?
So the Peck came over in the early 19th century, settled in Pennsylvania. My great grandfather, George Washington Peck, fought. He was a radical abolitionist. He fought in the Civil War. He fought in the Grand Army of the Republic. He took a bullet at Gettysburg.
Okay.
The Bible,
I heard of
the Bible saves his life.
I'm familiar with the Peck surname. But the Pecks, some of the that I've read about were swarthy people. Have you found that in your genealogy or your search?
I haven't. The thing is, I've been doing as a professional historian. I've been doing these bigger history of ideology. I haven't done the family work that but other relatives have.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say, we're not. We don't really have photographic evidence, but I do know this. They were really just dirt poor.
Yeah, descriptions of them.
Really poor.
Descriptions of them being swarthy. I do have it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would like anything. God, my God, anything you've got would be great. And then on my grandmother's side, the Swedes are Sustrom, and they actually came through Denmark. They went straight to Minnesota.
Okay.
They were
they come through a program because we know they had Hebrew aid program, especially during the homestead 1860s. They brought over a lot of Eastern Europeans at that time, and now these people were fair skinned, as we see from the records coming out.
My family, I mean, on the Swedish side, they were part of the Europeans who were encroaching on Lakota Sioux, and then later, my father grew up in the Shoshone Nation in Wyoming. That's where he grew up.
So basically, they were part of the homestead. They benefited from the homestead act.
They didn't directly benefit because they came a little bit in the 1870s.
Okay, later.
Yeah, a little bit later, but they had my dad had they were in the I had a dairy in Wyoming, and everyone it was a small town. Everyone knew each other. So I guess, I don't know. I mean, it's a complicated story, and it's a history of, in my own family of, I would say, I wouldn't call it, I would say, uncertainty and a desire to know. Like, I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for my historian friend.
Yeah.
Well, it seems that you're pretty knowledgeable about the way, whiteness came to be over here on what we call Turtle Island. So my question for you is that how can we broaden this information to the rest of the Europeans that are for the rest of the Europeans that are on this land who still partake in the ideology of them being supreme because of that particular ideology that has nothing to do with anything other than supremacy so far as is holding one people down and pushing another people up. So how can we make that inclusive enough for the rest of the Europeans here to understand that, so maybe they can break this chain and slow down on the madness that's being caused, for the last 400 or 500 years? Because even though they have adopted this concept, the people on this land have never considered them as enemies to the point that anything is being done, because we're constantly being bombarded by people who have been brainwashed into a concept of superiority that doesn't have anything to do with anything. So how can we make this broader so the rest of the people that look like you can understand and stop the madness?
I love that question. Thank you. I wish I had a quick answer. I feel like my book, that's why I wrote my book. I wanted to show how it is this idea, and I think the part that is helpful for me is I do a lot of work on voting rights because people are getting disfranchised left and right now. And it ain't much, our voting rights, but we don't, this thing we call democracy, but I listened to a lot of people, and I think that's what partly inspired my research, was that people are feeling like a lot of white people, not all, but a lot of them, have a sense of grievance, which is weird to me, because they've been beneficiaries of the unequal. They have a sense they are the ones being victimized. And I do think our current president's a perfect example of that. He is a kind of he is a professional victim. He's just a grievance all the time. And so how does that actually work in people's brains? And for me, it's helpful to know the origins of the story, because it was dividing people rather than like seeing our common humanity. That is actually where racism it legitimates all of this crap that you're describing. And so the way to break it is, how do you fight racism? Is by understanding that there are other ways of seeing common humanity. And it doesn't mean we're all the same. It's recognizing that there is, there's a bigger justice project. There's a project to stop human trafficking today. I work with a lot of scholars and activists who are seeking to stop the buying and selling of people today. Modern slavery is a big problem. Big problem. It's not the same as the slave trade or whatever, and all of the different things you've been talking about. But more people are being bought and sold today than probably ever in human history.
Let me just get this in, Horace. I think the very fact that we're having this conversation is a beginning to some type of change, because to have a Topcatz, to have Mafia Shakur, our young brother, to have a even younger brother, Mr. Wells here. And we've all learned something. We can all learn from each other. But I know that if we don't get it together, we're jeopardizing the safety of this country, because if you're fighting from the inside, it's easy for somebody to smack you from the outside.
Oh, well, one of the things is that
I didn't your question. Like, fix it. I don't know.
Like
more of a comment. Go ahead, Mr. Wells.
One of the things is, like, you hear these horror stories about people going to the hospital and they're going in for they got a rotator cuff problem, and then the surgeon takes out their liver or something, right? So the point is that our medical profession has misdiagnosed mental illness. They should broaden that to include racism, because it is a mental illness disease. And if you can't address a disease
like a drug addict,
there ain't no way you can get there.
Like a drug addict.
I think that is so spot on. I think of white victimhood as it's like a drug. It's like Oxycontin, man. It's a shortcut to people who are suffering. They get to blame someone else. They're the ones victimized, rather than a harder question.
Yeah,
and it's like it is a disease.
Yeah,
a scholar, right? One of my colleagues who does public health is looking here at Duke is looking at actually the fantastic scholar, but he quantifies the effects of physical effects of racism on people who are people of color, but also, and this is interesting, on people who are racist, and it's bad for you.
Yeah,
when you carry poison, it's bound to spill on you.
Yeah.
Hey, look here, guys. We gotta wrap this up. Topcatz, you gonna give us the final word? I know you there.
Yeah,
you
it was just getting good for me. It was just getting good for me. I heard something that caught me my ear. As far as the political part, what makes you want to get into it for the political part? When we look at it, as far as this race, and to answer the brother, I think his name was Horace's question as well. It's not just Caucasians. It's our people. We are destroyed by lack of knowledge.
Absolutely.
And for that lack of knowledge, what did it say? Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for they forsake knowledge. I forsake them.
I reject them.
Brother, he probably don't have bright thoughts about Trump and many others, but Trump did say one thing. He said that Negro African Americans, which is another misclassification. He said they need to do their history. You need to look into your history, because he said they built the White House, they built America. What I want to get down to the political part is that's what we see. That was the whole reason for the racism, because you have the 13 colonies coming down into the South, which is another government of their own, another country. So when Thomas Jefferson attacked Georgia and Florida, he was attacking a different country outside of the 13 colonies. U.S. expansion started in 1812, 1815, 1817. You have Alabama and the establishment of statehood, which gives U.S. jurisdiction in certain parts, and others outside it would be considered Indian, not taxed. But my point to that is we don't see the political parties were brought it because they were outnumbered in the South. The Union were outnumbered. So they brought in the White League. They brought in the KKK. They brought in the red shirts. And, people of these, to stop people from voting, they put in laws where you had to be able to read, write, sometimes even pay to vote. They brought in all of these distractions. But at this, boom, really right now, what he wrote his book on and this whiteness, you know what I'm saying? I'm really showing them where it really happened. Not just because white on the paper, but when did this actually happen? Because First, we got to get the white people to America because they're not already here. We're telling the story as if they're already here. And if they are here, some of them are white Irish slaves. No, we're not going to do that. Politics. You said two things important. White is not biology, it's ideology, which ties to politics. Same as black. Black ties you to politics. That is a political status. White is a political status. That's why my great-grandfather, full-blooded Cherokee, passed as a white man. It was one of the first men, colored men to drive buses in Houston, Texas. This the shit. How many family members out there passed as white because they had all that land and they were prestigious families and all of that? And nigga don't, if you write that on the paper, they don't take that away from you. But nigga, I'm a landowner. Nigga, I pay taxes. Nigga, I got cattle. Nigga, I'm prominent nigga at the church. I'm a community leader. I'm an organizer. You know, yeah, nigga, I got rank. So yeah, but everything by what his book, and I ain't read it not to knock it, but he might need to go back and, you know, rewrite that some bitch. But let's tell him how what really happened and how this shit really go. Let me back it up a little bit.
A harder question.
Yeah,
it's
I reject him.
Brother, he probably don't have bright.
On a word, I know you there.
Yeah, yeah.
You
it was just getting good for me. It was just getting good for me, huh? I said I heard it's getting good. I wanted to knock out. Nah, yeah, because he told me I was come to a program because we know,
and how incredibly powerful they were in. I believe in. I believe in better history that's more.
See, this is what he told me about Joel Springer. Now, Joel
wrote a great book about. So, listen, I appreciate your skepticism. So,
skeptic? I'm not being no guy. I'm not no motherfucking skeptic, nigga. That's why I'm naming names. I'm naming organizations. I'm naming people. I'm not using terms to describe a large body of people, such as black and white, which you're doing. You're the mystic. So you're looking for something tangible and not even understanding that the shit you're giving is not tangible. You're going off writings that people wrote. I'm going off of the experiences through life that people had. Totally different situation. And so you want to go there? Well, Chief, get on your Bud Crawford. Bo Mag say close the show. Hey, you down? I'm down. Go finish him. Win the championship round. They ready to close out. Win the championship round. Round 11.
Some of you have been quite skeptical of like what official history is and
what. No, I've been skeptical of what institutional history is. But you're a part of that. And so what I'm saying, if I'm saying what I'm saying, then you wouldn't be able to say what you're saying. One of the two have to be true. Is it me or is it you?
And I appreciate that. I mean, for me, I can say as an historian, I believe in better history that's more, you know,
better history. Better, right? League Chief. Really? Okay.
Oh, inclusive.
Yeah, tangible.
It explains complexity. That's what I'm striving to write, and that's what I'm striving to understand.
All right. So, Chief, yeah. So you're looking for tangibles. Y'all heard? So you looking for tangibles? Yeah, I'm looking for tangibles. Something we can prove. Y'all know my game. You know the best source is you. You're looking for something tangible in history, right? You're looking for white folks and white superiority and this origin of this white. You're looking for that, right? Well, guess what? When I'm looking over the table, I'm looking at a white boy. And this white boy want to know where white boys come from or where they get this status, this class from. Well, guess what? I don't do skepticism. I'm a historian. I like things tangible. Guess what? You looking real tangible right now. You're looking very, very tangible. So let me show you a little. So let's go here with it.
And I don't want to mythologize. The reason being that mythologies have so often been to hurt people who don't deserve it. The mythologies have been just like history.
One second. I want 1 second, brother. I apologize. I wanted to say this to Doc. I think a way that you can do that and get real results is something you said earlier about the bloodline. Set them up. If we stick to the bloodline, then we can trace it back. We already become historians because we're looking in the past, but it connects the dots that are missing. So I ask you this question. Y'all see that setup, huh? Show him how important bloodline is. What he did, he agreed with me. So what I do, I switch stances on him. I turn him. And guess what? Put him on his back feet. When we're looking for tangibles, the best tangibles we can get is bloodline. And following that automatically makes us historians because we're looking in the past. So you called yourself a historian earlier. Anyone looking in the past becomes a historian. So let's look at bloodline. If we want tangible, if we want 100%, if we want 100% results on tangibles, let's look at one's bloodline. He agreed. So guess what? Turn him, Chief. Since your topic is more about the white race, how they empower the. We catching the what year did your family get to America? We catching the shoot.
My family?
Yes, sir.
So different bloodlines.
Fucked him up with that one. Look, he looking in the eyes in the sky. She got a drone up there. Send a nigga ass into the acoustic records. Yeah, that little nigga hit hard. You ain't see that one coming, huh? We looking for tangibles. Well, guess what? You gonna be my primary source.
We're a bunch of French, Swedish, English, Irish, and there is some Asian, sort of Central Asian, but we don't really know. We haven't been able to find out who they are. But what we've been able to find out mostly through genealogy is just that we were all farmers. For every corner of them.
I mean, like, do you know what year they got? Okay, bam. What year? Let's work. They looking in the sky again. Jesus is thou name of the Lord. Jesus is thou name of the Lord.
So the Peck came over in the early 19th century, settled in Pennsylvania. My great grandfather, George Washington Peck, fought. He was a radical abolitionist. He fought in the Civil War.
Watch what I do to him. I'm pressing.
In the Grand Army of the Republic. He took a bullet at Gettysburg.
Okay. I heard of the.
And the Bible says the
pick. I'm familiar with the pick. They catch and shoot. You talking about? We're gonna catch and shoot. Surname. Back him up. But the picks. some of the that I've read about were swarthy people. Have you found that in your genealogy or your search? Whoa. Told that nigga the original Pecks are swarthy. The original Pecks that I know of from colonial time and through American history were swarthy, dark complected people. Have you found any of that in your research? Call me a motherfucking skepticism, nigga. I'm a knockout artist. Now, you like tangibles? Now you're the tangible. You're the primary source. I got you, nigga. What we gonna do? Now what we doing? What we doing, fam? I want to knockout.
I haven't, the thing is, I've been doing, as a professional story, I've been doing these bigger, like, history of ideology. I haven't done the family work that
history of ideology.
Other relatives have.
History of ideology. But you like tangibles. Like I said, white is not biology, it's ideology. So you're, again, playing an ideology card. What we doing, fam? I want my knockout, though.
But I would say, we're not, we don't really have photographic evidence, but they were do this. They were really just dirt poor.
Yeah, descriptions of them,
really poor.
Descriptions of them being swarthy. I do have it.
Interesting.
And, yeah.
I would like anything. God, my God, anything you got would be great. And then on my grandmother's side,
and then you say anything you got to be great. Hey, listen, bam. Anything you got, you need my email. Listen, brother. Anything you got is great. It will be a great help. Yeah, I mean, anything you got, you need my email. Anything you want to send over to me, brother. I hey, I'll be very grateful if you care to share. Yeah,
the seeds are Sustrum, and they actually came through Denmark. They went straight to Minnesota.
Minnesota. Okay.
They were.
So they come through a program because we know Chief don't want to let up. Why you gonna let him up when he hurt? Don't let up. So y'all came through a program. How did y'all get here, family? They had like Hebrew aid program, especially during the homestead, 1860s. Nice transition. Boom, boom, boom. Did y'all come to a program? Was it a homestead or program? Look at him. He looking in the sky. I got you. I got you. I got you. Part of a lot of Eastern Europeans at that time. And now these people were fair-skinned, as we see from the records coming out.
My family, I mean, on the Swedish side, they were part of the Europeans who were encroaching on Lakota Sioux, and then later, my father grew up in the Shoshone Nation in Wyoming. That's where he grew up.
So basically, they were part of the homestead. They benefited from the Homestead Act. Yeah, they were the invaders. Well, they were sent in, and if they win the war, they are being allotted lands to come out there and fight. Like he said, they invaded the Lakota Sioux, and even grew up on the reservation that was land of the Dakota. Now, this is a real white boy story. This is what he should start his book off with. And we won't talk about white folk. Because, see, we can't talk about the Revolutionary War. We can't talk about all that with them. Because they ain't here yet. And that's what I know. Don't ever call me no motherfucking skepticist, nigga. I am the godfather of American Indian studies.
They didn't directly benefit because they came a little bit in the 1860s.
Not directly, but they did benefit. They were heirs. They inherited. I apologize. They inherited the benefits.
70s.
Okay, later.
Yeah, a little bit later, but they had. My dad had they were in the. I had a dairy in Wyoming, and it was. Yeah, I mean, everyone. It was a small town. Everyone knew each other. So I guess I don't know. I mean, it's it's a complicated story, and it's a history of.
No, it's not. It's a colonizer story. It's a colonial story. You just admitted that your family came Eastern European, 1870s, brought over to fight the wars to clear out those in the mountainous areas. Fight against plain Indian tribes, and in return, their granted land grants. Oh, okay. Okay. Since we wanted tangibles, I think we got them.
In my own family of, I would say,
call it rah-rah.
I wouldn't call it, I would say, uncertainty and a desire to know. Like, I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for my historian friend.
Yeah.
Well, it seems that you're pretty knowledgeable about the way, whiteness came to be over here on what we call Turtle Island. So my question for you is that how can we broaden this information to the rest of the Europeans that are for the rest of the Europeans that are on this land who still partake in the ideology of them being supreme because of that particular ideology that has nothing to do with anything other than supremacy so far as is holding one people down and pushing another people up. So how can we make that inclusive enough for the rest of the Europeans here to understand that, so maybe they can break this chain and slow down on the madness that's been caused, for the last 400 or 500 years? Because even though they have adopted this concept, the people on this land have never considered them as enemies to the point that anything is being done, because we're constantly being bombarded by people who have been brainwashed into a concept of superiority that doesn't have anything to do with anything. So how can we make this broader so the rest of the people that look like you can understand and stop the madness?
I love that question. Thank you. I wish I had a quick answer. I feel like my book, that's why I wrote my book. I wanted to show how it is this idea, and I think
don't worry about it. Gigi, watch this here.
How can we make this broader so the rest of the people that look like you can understand and stop the madness?
Whoop a nigga ass. That's what you do. You whoop a nigga ass.
I love that question. Thank you.
Hey, watch this.
I wish I had.
Gigi said, I don't like questions like that. Look at that Jaguar. You see that smile? Hey, when he starts smiling, bro, run.
Quick answer. I feel like my book. That's why I wrote my book.
Yeah, let's slide this to the
I wanted to show.
Oh, he ready to work. He wants some work.
How?
Got one on my line. I think I got one tugging on my line.
Idea, and I think the part that is helpful for me
we
is
gonna work.
I was running into. I do a lot of work on voting rights because people are getting disfranchised left and right now, and it ain't much our voting rights, but we don't this thing we call democracy. But I listened to a lot of people, and I think that's what partly inspired my research, was that people are feeling like a lot of white people, not all, but a lot of them, have a sense of grievance, which is weird to me, because they're the beneficiaries of the unequal. They have a sense they are the ones being victimized, and I do think our current president's a perfect example of that. He is a kind of his victim. He is a professional victim. He's just a grievance all the time. And so how does that actually work in people's brains? And for me, it's helpful to know the origins of the story, because it was dividing people rather
get
than
the lights up, get the lights up, hit the light
our
button.
Common humanity. That is actually where racism it legitimates all of this crap that you're describing. And so the way to break it is how do you fight racism is by understanding that there are other ways of seeing common humanity. And it doesn't mean we're all the same. It's recognizing that there is there's a bigger justice project. There's a project to stop human trafficking today. I work with a lot of scholars and activists who are seeking to stop the buying and selling of people today. Modern slavery is a big problem.
I had to go hit the gas.
Big problem. It's not the same as the slave trade or whatever, and all of the different things you've been talking about. But more people are being bought and sold today than probably ever in human history.
Let me just get this in, Horace. I think the very fact that we're having this conversation is a beginning to some type of change, because to have a Topcatz, to have Mafia Shakur, our young brother, to have a even younger brother, Mr. Wells here. And we've all learned something. We can all learn from each other. But I know that if we don't get it together, we're jeopardizing the safety of this country, because if you're fighting from the inside, it's easy for somebody to smack you from the outside.
Oh, well, one of the things is that, you know,
like your question, fix it. I don't know.
Like
more of a comment. Go ahead, Mr. Wells.
One of the things is, like, you know, you hear these horror stories about you know, people going to the hospital and they're going in for you know, they got a rotator cuff problem, and then you know the surgeon takes out their liver or something, you know, right? So the point is that our medical profession has misdiagnosed mental illness. They should broaden that to include racism, because it is a mental illness disease. And if you can't address a disease
like a drug addict,
there ain't no way you can get there.
You know,
like a drug addict.
You know, I think that is so spot on. You know, I think of white victimhood as like, it's like a drug. It's like Oxycontin, man. It's a shortcut to people who are suffering. They get to blame someone else. They're the ones victimized, rather than a harder question. Yeah, and it's like it is a disease.
Yeah,
a scholar.
Chief Beck, this is not the civil rights era. This is 2025. This is not 1965. It's not civil rights. That shit that worked then is not gonna work now.
Right, is one of my colleagues who does public health is looking here at Duke, is looking at
Stone.
Actually, the fantastic scholar, but he quantifies
Stone
the effects of physical effects of racism. On people who are, you know, people of color, but also, and this is interesting, on people who are racist. And it's bad for you.
Yeah. When you carry poison, it's bound to spill on you.
Yeah.
Hey, look here, guys. We got to wrap this up. Topcatz, you going to give us the final word? I know you there.
Yeah.
You started.
It was just getting good for me. It was just getting good for me. I heard something that caught me my ear. As far as the political part, what makes you want to get into it, as far as the political part. When we look at it, as far as this race, and to answer the brother, I think his name was Horace's question as well. It's not just Caucasians. It's our people. We are destroyed by a lack of knowledge.
Absolutely.
And for that lack of knowledge, the what did it say? Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed for they forsake not as I forsake them.
I reject them.
Brother, he probably don't have bright thoughts about Trump and many others, but Trump did say one thing. He said that Negro African Americans, which is another, you know, misclassification. He said they need to do their history. You need to look into your history, because he said they built the White House, they built America. What I want to get down to the political part is that's what we see. That was the whole reason for the racism, because you have the 13 colonies coming down into the South, which is another government of their own, another country. So when Thomas Jefferson attacked, Andrew Jackson Jefferson attacked Georgia and Florida, he was attacking a different country outside of the 13 colonies. U.S. expansion was started in 1812, 1815, 1817. You have Alabama and the establishment of statehood, which gives U.S. jurisdiction in certain parts, and others outside it would be considered Indian, not taxed. But my point to that is we don't see the political parties were brought it because they were outnumbered in the South. The Union were outnumbered. So they brought in the White League. They brought in the KKK. They brought in the red shirts. And, people of these, to stop people from voting, they put in laws where you had to be able to read, write, sometimes even pay to vote. They brought in all of these distractions. But at this time, and it might go over a lot of people's head, but the first Klan, the leader, the first dragon of the Ku Klux Klan was a melanated. No, it wasn't a Moor.
It was Moor?
He ran to Tennessee. He ran some of the most ferocious fighters out of the was it Tennessee?
Pulaski, Tennessee.
Pulaski, Tennessee is where the Klan is gonna come from. They're gonna be Klan members, but if you read J.A. Rogers, he speaks about them looking like us. A lot of them didn't want to take their hoods off. Another thing we have to understand, they went under the Protestant faith or Baptist faith, same as the connection with the AME church. That's why if someone get hung, they're not. John Hopkins put out, they said, if you want to travel, find the lynching trail, just follow missing, stolen land. You're not getting hung because of your color. You're getting hung because of the land that's in the mineral resources that's under your feet. Another thing is how they separated us, because at this time in the South, I say in the South, white people voted Republican. Okay, all the way in Wilmington, 1898, the Wilmington riot, where they created a few. The Democrats created what's called a fusion party. They're going to bring in the white class, or this class that's coming over from Ellis Island, and they're going to give them these rights. Now we're seeing them get this, what will later be called white supremacy. They're able to be in a class system over the indigenous people. And so we see them clash again through the labor movements, but and the red summers, the burnings of the towns, Negro towns, the sanctuaries. But I do want to point out the fact that in the South, whites voted mostly Republican until 1898, when the Democrats created what's called a fusion party, and they started allotting them with these lands and start giving them more opportunities under the class system under white. But later in the 20th century, it'll become more prominent as they bring in more people. 1922, you have nationalization, and then come 1924, that's the first time they brought in the Plain Indians, who in the 60s we'll know as Native Americans. That term coming to them. But just a little on that and how race, but to Brother Horace, I think we need to be more educated on who we are, and not as a whole, but in ourselves, our family story. I tell a lot of people, we read books to try to find out who we are. Instead of becoming historians, I feel like we should become my stories. What is your story? What are the contributions have your family made to the world? A lot of people don't know. You don't know where it gets cut off at. You don't know what happened to you if something did happen. Forced migration, as we see through the South to Kansas to the West, as they expand, as you expanded, a lot of our people families went west. But I did want to throw that in there, that we need to get more educated on ourselves and not leave it up to anyone else to tell us, because a lot of the times at home, the family tells us when we're at the age of understanding, they tell us who we were, who their parents were. That's how a lot of us can say, oh, I have Indian in my family. My grandma said that her mother was Indian. My grandmother was Choctaw Indian, Cherokee Indian. And then we go to school and into the world, and there's an identity or there's, propaganda that's put out, and we have to circle the right answer in order to make it through school, even though it wasn't, who we really were. So we adopted a lot of these things, these titles that then tie back to our surname, and our surname is very important because that's why inheritance goes. And so, yes, sir.
Let me say something, Topcatz, and I'm gonna leave it alone.
Hold tight, Horace. Hold tight, Horace. We got to wrap this thing up. I want you to hit the like and the subscribe button. I got to do a commercial, man. I wrote a book, I Am Black Wall Street. Topcatz, you taught me well. And that goes into, you mentioned Florida. A lot of us don't know Florida wasn't a U.S. property until 1831.
Shout out to my boy Urban. Urban Engine, man. Aboriginality. Y'all go support his clothesline. Yeah, I went on there the first time. Uncle Doni told me John Horse was one of his heroes. So when he told me he wanted me to come Wednesday, I said, you know what? Urban just gave me a shirt with John Horse on there. And I wanted to pick a day to wear it. And I said, this is the perfect day. So shout out to Urban Engine and Aboriginality. I had to put it in their face.
Florida, if you made it to Florida, you were free. And this is the latest one. I don't know how you feel about the title, Topcatz, but it's Black Blueprint.
I'm okay with it. Texas. I'm a Texan. From Florida to Texas, 1829, Vicente Guerrero. If you make it to Texas, you can make it to Mama Freedom. You're going to have a lot of fighters to fight on side of you. This was one of your heroes, so I made sure I won. That's John Horse or Warren Kabbalah.
I plan to get my ticket to Houston this week. We're coming there for November. Horse, and then we get Gunther, and then we're going to get up out of here. Come on, Horse. I don't want Chicago. This cat from Chicago, he from the Chi. Okay. You don't mess with them cats from the Chi, man. They got a big posse.
Well, no, man, hey, man, I respect my brother, man, Topcatz, man, 100%. And, man, if you heard me on Doni's show previously, man, hey, man, don't beat me up for not adding you to the list, but I damn sure I'll put you on there, you know what I'm saying, at a later date, so you was coming, man. You know what I'm saying? I just want to say that, yeah, man, and I'm most definitely with you, man, on us gaining that knowledge, but even still, we got to deal with people that got guns. Once we get this knowledge, we have to go to these institutions where we may be like medical apartheid, or then we still have to deal with the foods that.
Shout out to Uncle Elroy. That's my freaky uncle right there, man. Uncle Elroy, my rich uncle. Get y'all a rich uncle. So the brother, Geek said, if your name Horace, you can fight. Yeah, he an old gangbanger. Chicago, Southside. You can see his eyes. He done been through it. He done seen it all. Done it all, seen it all. And he's a real one from out there, yeah.
Once we get this knowledge, we have to go to these institutions where we may be like medical apartheid, or then we still have to deal with the foods that we eat in the poor communities that are having all these destructive chemicals in them. So I'm most definitely with you so far as gaining the knowledge, but I'm saying in the part of the people who are in control of this thing because of this narrative, they need to be reached to the point where they can slow down with the shenanigans, man, so we can all be in a harmonious state.
Now, that's true, OG Horace, and I agree with you on that. But a lot of those things can be fixed at home. That's so, like you said, a grandma grew up. When we grew up, you from the South. You probably got some Mississippian roots. You out of Chicago.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They had gardens. They grew gardens. So we had our own chicken coops. I'm a country boy. We got our own cattle out there. We gonna cut the cattle. We'll cook it under the ground the same way the Indians did when the Spanish got here to Texas. So it's still things we I think we're in a different space today now because what they call them Gen Z this generation today is different. You know, they're together. They're more together culturally. You know, they talk the same. They speak the same. They're going to the same schools now. You know, they're best friends now. You know, it's not how when we grew up or when you're probably older than I am. But even when you grew up, you know, but a lot of back then we were more self-sufficient, even owning our own family businesses, you know, and having our family land and cemeteries and things that a lot of us let go because, you know, the lack of knowledge or the lack of leadership there in the family to uphold those things instead of us, you know, looking for help outside ourselves.
One thing I like to say is in reference to bloodlines, in reference to blood,
sunshine,
in reference to DNA. These are vital things to know. But another vital thing to know is what in you, specifically in you, can perceive bloodlines, DNA. What is it? What is that that can even perceive that? What grace is that?
Nothing. It's the greatest thing. It's what unlocks the key to the mystery. Nothing greater than that.
It brings the healing, no matter what.
Yeah, it brings the healing, but it also brings you back home.
For all people.
But yeah, this is universal. This is universal. This has no line, and that's why I say this is the only thing that can work because you, in order for you to be here, you will have to come through someone else. So someone has to be with you, and so that in itself is nothing higher than that. And once you know the story that you have then found true knowledge itself, we can know all the world history we know, but if we don't know anything about ourselves, if we don't know who our third great grandmother, our fifth great grandmother, you know, our migrations, how did I get to whatever state I was born in? Was my family already here? So many different branches to it. I think these are the things we should focus on. That's why I feel like it's nothing higher. As a saying, genealogy is the highest form of spirituality. Why do I say that? Because it's the only thing that allows you to worship that in which you come from. And it's within, and it's you, your own personal story. No one else can share that answer unless y'all have the same mother and father. Without that, you have that's why it's the hardest journey. Instead of just picking a religion or picking a God or picking a doctrine. No, it's about you. And it's the only thing that can empower you. And it's the key that unlocks that mystery to who you really are, because in order to know where you're going, you have to know where you come from. And a tree with no roots bears no fruit. I'll leave out with that. Appreciate you, Unc.
Good deal.
Appreciate you, Doc. Appreciate that. Great conversation.
Yeah, it's a great conversation. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
I know you weren't expecting this.
No, I loved it. I wanted a spirited conversation about history, and that's what this was. So I'm grateful. Thank you. I was going to say, I had one thing I was going to say, just is that I teach 2 classes, and the reason I teach these, one is the history of gardening, and it struck me what you were saying about people have lost, this young people today. They don't know how to garden. They don't know their connection to the land. And
many don't. Some do, though.
Some do. But most don't.
Please don't get them started, man.
But I won't. But I have to say, I love teaching the history of gardening because it's a way to link family history to actual knowledge of the soil and knowledge of the earth. And it's a spiritual class as well as a practical class as well as a history class. So that's actually my favorite class right now. That's where I'm learning the most. So I just combines a lot of the good insights you have shared. So I thank you for that. Thanks for inviting me on, Doni. And I hope if you're interested in the book, you're welcome to buy it. But and I'm happy to. I may be in Baltimore soon. My best friend lives in Baltimore, so anyhow.
I'll make sure you get a good crab cake.
Dr. Gunther, before I go, Dr. Gunther, the secret, there's always been the secret. The number 100% results is going to be the bloodlines. Connect the bloodline, follow the bloodlines.
Yeah. And knowing your family history and being able to, if you can find it and reconstruct it. So that's the other thing. I have my students write family histories and that's powerful.
And do family trees. Yeah. Appreciate you for your works and your longevity, because I know a lot of, we may miss a lot of time from our family. We disregard a lot of, social activities, because we're students of knowledge, and it, it resonated with us, as if it was a covenant we made before we got here. So I want to respect your works and just to add to it, give you a secret ingredient in there. Because the book is still it's questioned, it makes the mind think. But if we want the tangibles like you spoke about earlier, we can't miss if we follow the bloodline.
All right. Thank you for that. All righty. I'm gonna sign off like with everyone else here.
Yes,
got
sir.
a team I'm morning early at 9, so I'm gonna get ready.
Thank you, Doc.
Thanks so much for this.
All right.
Okay. Bye now.
Bye-bye. Robert, we about to get up out of here, man.
Oh, that's cool. I just want to say hi.
Hey, say man. Say man. Say man. Stop playing, man. Stop playing, man. Best he ever did and got away with it. Oh, his resume is impeccable.
Go. Sorry I'm late. I had some things to do.
Yes, sir. Shakur, you been Mafia Shakur. This is your show. Come on, point guard.
No, man. I'm just letting the elders do what they think. I can learn and listen as well. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody that was on the panel and sharing what they were sharing. I ain't here to interrupt or cut nobody off. I was listening and learning as well. Like I say, I know what I know, but I don't know all the details and specifics. Topcatz, he one of the great speakers and all the elders as well. You know what I'm saying? So I'm here to learn and listen as well, so that I can even share that ability to learn and listen with others as well. And I appreciate it. Like I say, man, this was a great show.
Shout out to Big Mo
We can do more research, and we also can do more, intuitive thinking. Like he said, the knowledge of yourself. That's what I come from, the school of knowledge itself. And the more you learn about yourself, you'll find a path to where you're going. Like he said, follow the bloodline. The bloodline leads to a war path because there was war shared over the bloodline. So if you follow a bloodline, you'll follow the war trail. You'll follow the migrations and, everything according to that.
Hey, I want to ask y'all, did I do my job? God damn it. If I leave, OMBB though, what's up, little bro? I just thought about you yesterday, nigga, on my dead mama. Nigga, I'm like, man, what my little bro at? Man, I just thought about you yesterday, nigga. Yeah, Vito. Man, I said, damn, man, I ain't seen my little bro, man. Yeah, I just thought on everything I just thought about you yesterday. On BCU, nigga, on Indian, on BCU and on guard, nigga, I just thought about man. I said, man, what my little nigga beat up with, man. Yeah. Chris say, shut it down. Bring him. Achilles. Remember the name. The legendary. You know what was player though? I left. And man, for Brother Shakur to drop those balls right there, that's powerful to me. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people, they may have a source, a lot of people, they may have a platform, but they don't have a message. And, you know, it's not many people in today's era that has a message. They have something to say. Everybody got something to say. They have a source. Everybody can go pull up a source here. Niggas chat GPT and AI right in front of you. And ain't insecure about it. They don't give a fuck. You know, they just got the answer from a robot and gave it to you and called themselves a teacher. But what they lack is a message. So when I left, and for the brothers to steal from what they got from that conversation, nah, that's real. Matter of fact, let's run that back.
The bloodline leads to a ability to learn and listen with others as well. And I appreciate it. Like I said, man, this was a great show. We can do more research, and we also can do more, you know, intuitive thinking. Like he said, the knowledge of yourself. You know, that's what I come from, the school of knowledge yourself. And the more you learn about yourself, you'll find the path to where you're going. Like he said, follow the bloodline. The bloodline leads to a war path because there was war shared over the bloodline. So if you follow a bloodline, you follow the war trail. You'll follow the migrations and, you know, everything according to that.
Right. And I agree totally. I've been on a mission for 20 years, following the blood, following the family, documenting. And it's tiresome, but we got to do it. So it was a good show tonight. I agree.
Hey, everybody check me out at the Dogs.Network on YouTube, From Gangs to Gods. Trying to get all of the cats in Chicago to understand, man, that we got a higher science.
I told you, Geechee. He got a program From Gangs to God. I told that nigga was a gangbanger. I'm looking at him.
It's
right
at our fingertips, man. It can unify us, man. Dogs.Network, From Gangs to Gods.
I will definitely check that out.
Like I said, you can follow me. I'm Mafia Shakur on everything. Mafia Shakur or Son of Baltimore, SUN Baltimore. You know, I do a multitude of things. So, like I say, I'll catch y'all on the.
Shout out to the brother. He did a piece on Son of Baltimore. That's his website. Y'all can check it out. He did a piece on me, actually. So I appreciate that brother right there. And I also, man, y'all can go get y'all tickets now. Y'all can go get y'all tickets. They up on the BCU site. Women, we got the active wear. Yeah, it's getting cold outside. Y'all come shop with the kid. Right here. Go pick up your tickets, man. It's a possibility we can sell out. Don't miss out. You heard what they just said. Baltimore said they coming. Baltimore said, hey, man, we getting our tickets this week. So say, Spody Boy in Florida, he said he booked. Cam booked. Georgia booked. South Carolina booked. I'm just saying. All right, bet. OG, let me know. Because I only got minimum sizes. But if you let me know her size, I'll hold it down for you. I'll hold it down for you. Let me know her size. And because I only got a few. So let me know her size and what color, and I'm gonna put it to the side for her. And I'm gonna send both of y'all a pair of BCU shades. Send both of y'all a pair of BCU shades on me. Goddamn, cause Unc, you can't just be looking out for nephew, you know. Unc, your nephew getting grown now, man. So I gotta look out too. So yeah, I'm gonna shoot y'all some shades. So just if it's a certain color y'all want, you know what I'm saying? If she want to match the shades with the outfit, we can do that too. We can send them too. But yeah, I ain't just gonna let you take care of me, and I ain't gonna take care of you back, man. You know, that's how we keep it going. And appreciate you, Uncle Elroy. Let work. Big and John.
She said, take your time, what's the rush? Baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mutt. She said, take your time.
Right back. My Uncle right back, goddamn. Uncle Elroy right back in there. He say, appreciate you, Nev. Goddamn it, appreciate you. Uncle Elroy. Don't let her break your back, Unc. Don't let her break your back. I might throw a pack of dick honey in there too. See, I get that shit from Abu Dhabi. These niggas using that dick honey from Hindustan and Pakistan and shit. I got that shit from Abu Dhabi. I might throw you a couple packs in there.
I'm a dog, I'm a muddy. I get smoke already, so hard in my blood.
Hey.
I see guys' pretty faces, so I got trouble trusting. But I let my guard down for you. Said I'll put my guard down for you. Said I'll be vulnerable, so you can bring my heart if you want to. She said, take your time. I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mud.
He said, you.
She said, take your time. What's your rush?
What's up?
I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a mud. I'm a dog, I'm a mud. No crib talk come through, it's time to break it in.
Holla.
92 like my pin size, cause the niggas try to break it in.
Big Dad, Tennessee.
No condo, say your name at the front. You can stay if you want. It's been one of those nights. One of those nights I ain't had in a minute. It's been a minute, I've been popping from the Ricky, ain't been feeling. Ooh, but it's never the same as the first time we did it. First time we did it, but I let my guard down for you. Said I'll put my guard down for you. Said I'll be vulnerable, so you can bring my heart if you want to. She said, take your time, what's the rush? Take your time, what's the rush? I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a man. She said, take your time, what's the rush? I said, baby, I'm a dog, I'm a man. I'm a dog, I'm a man.
Man, y'all ready for H time? I said, are you ready for H time? Are y'all ready for Houston Tech? If you've never been to Houston, let me tell you, it's gonna be an experience. If you ain't never been to Houston, it's gonna be an experience. We gonna bring the whole culture out. We gonna have college students there because the youth gotta get in on this. We gonna do some college tour travels. We going to the campuses. We walking the campuses. We gonna have the youth out there too. We got people coming from Philly, Delaware, Jersey, Connecticut, New York, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Colorado, Michigan, Chicago, Tennessee, man, I mean Florida. Goddamn, man, everybody named mama gonna be there. Go get your tickets, go get your VIPs. Because people, 3 people already got them while we been live. So now we're a little lower. So I'm pretty sure by Monday them hoes will be gone. If your ass standing room only, I don't want to hear it, nigga. Let's go.
Few solid niggas left, but
not enough.
Few bitches that are really step, but it's not enough. Say you
niggas never left, but it's not enough.
I get on their ass. Yeah, somebody gotta do it. I made them niggas mad. Yeah, somebody gotta do it. I check the G-pad. Yeah, watch a nigga do it. We survived outside, all from the music, nigga.
What?
They
like, what they on?
This is the outfit on there, bitch. Bubbling home. This is not a song. This is a revelation. How to get a nigga gone. I need you a man, baby. I don't understand, baby. Pay your bill and make you feel protected like I can, baby. Teach you something if you need correction. That's the plan, baby. Don't put your life in these weird niggas' hands, baby. It's not enough. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that are really step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough. I get on their ass. Yeah, somebody gotta do it. Somebody gotta do it. I tell the G-pad. Yeah, watch a nigga do it.
We survived outside, out front of you, nigga.
Hey, turn this TV off. You with my type activities, and don't you get involved. Hey, what? How many shit I see and send them off? Take a risk or take a trip. You know I'm tripping for my dog. Who you with? Couple sergeants and lieutenants for the get back. This revolution been televised. I fell through with the knickknacks. Hey, yo, nigga, get your chili up. Yeah, I admit that. Hey, blacked out if they act out.
Yeah, we did that. Hey, what's up, though?
I hate a bitch that's hating on the bitch and they both hoes. I hate a nigga hating on them niggas and they both broke. If you ain't coming for no chili, what you come for?
Hey, Sweet Feather, I know some people driving down from Philadelphia, Delaware area. They told me they were driving down. So it is some people driving down, coming out the Philadelphia and Delaware area. They coming down together.
I feel like he entitled because he knew me since a kid. Bitch, I cut my granny off and she don't see it how I see it. Got a big mouth, but he lack big ideas. Send him to the moon, that's just how I feel. Yeah,
hey.
Solid niggas left, but it's not enough.
Big and don't.
But it's not enough. Say you bigger
Big
than myself,
and don't.
But it's not enough. Are we really sure that our love that lasted for so long?
We're not doing genealogy right now. My bad, Styles. We're not doing it right now.
Let's talk about the distractions going on elsewhere. Really sure. Few solid niggas left, but it's not enough. Few bitches that are really step, but it's not enough. Say you bigger than myself, but it's not enough. Are we really sure?
Yeah.
That our love that lasted for so long. Still you really care. Hey, let's talk about the distractions going on elsewhere.
Hey, say, man, these niggas be saying they got it. Well, let me see the bodies. Go check out my cemetery. Oh, yeah. Go check out my cemetery. Oh, it's a work of art. It's a work of art. I don't never have to see your style. I don't never have to hear where you coming from. I don't need to know your stance. Because I'm going to fight my fight. And I'm going to make you fight my fight. Dead or alive, put the clock on them. I'll chew their ass up. I'll work easy work.